Boom. What's going on, fam? Anthony Johnson here today, co-founder of the Redman Group, founder of 21 Studios, 21 Convention, 22 Convention, the Patriarch Convention, 21 University, and 10,000 other things on the internet I've created over the past 16 years. Today, I got a special episode of the Redman Group for you, episode 171. We have a returning guest to the show today, Allende from Authentic Alphas down in Miami. He's got back to America recently, and this time we're going to have, he's on the show recently, probably about 2 months ago. And it was a good episode, but the internet was kind of choppy and stuff. So this episode, we're going to be revisiting some of those topics and getting into new ones as well. A lot more advice and stuff. And looking forward to his audio and internet connection today is like crystal clear, so that's going to be good. Now, before we get into the show, quick shout out to our sponsor, which is our own event that we do. The Woodstock of the Manosphere, the Super Bowl of the Manosphere, the longest running Manosphere event in the world by about 10,000 miles. It's amazing. It's awesome. And I'm the fucking best at making them. And they are the best by a long shot. So check out 21studios.com, link in the description to 21 Summit. It is the 16-year anniversary, that's 16 event or anniversary event for 21 Studios and our conventions. It's going to be in Orlando, Florida, October 14th to 17th, 2022. That's a Friday through Monday. The event starts in about 90 days, right on the dot, 3 months. It's going to be fucking awesome. It actually has 3 events in one. So we have the Patriarch Convention for fathers, that's the blue. We have the 21 Convention Classic, that's for men. And then we have the 22 Convention for women, where we are making women great again. At the main event, we're making men alpha again. And at the Fatherhood event, we're rebuilding the patriarchy. As you know, feminists smashed the patriarchy into 1,000 pieces, so we have to rebuild it, make a new one. You can learn more about the events on the website, 21studios.com. There's a link at the top for live events. And each one has information on each event when you go to the drop-down. So this is the main event for all men, basically over 18. Mostly it's for men ages like 25 to about 50. Men who are single, bachelors, stuff like that, who are not married and generally not married anyway. You're welcome to come, though, if you're married. Who are not into like building a family yet and stuff like that. It's going to be awesome. You go down to the speakers, see all the speakers for the event, including today's Allende. It's on here as well. We have a couple more we're adding still too. Legends of the Manosphere. Guys like Coach Greg Adams, Jack Donovan, Richard Grannon, Zamparion, Ivan Throne, Pat Stedman. Lots of great guys. We also have the Patriarch Convention, which you can see here. And similar lineup of new speakers. Elliot, for example, speaking at the Patriarch event, but not the 21 Convention. The good thing is, as a man, you can actually get bonus complimentary access to both men's events. So even if you're, say, 25, 30 years old, you go to the 21 Convention main event, you get free access to the Patriarch event, and you can see special speakers there that you want to see personally, like Elliot Hulse, who has over 2.5 million fans just on YouTube. The speaker list for each event is different. There is some crossover, obviously. Coach Greg, for example, will speak at all 3 events. Other speakers only speak at 1 or 2 events. So it's customized each event with a custom lineup. And there's a women's event as well, if you're a female. Probably not too many females watching this today, given that it's the Redman Group. But if you are a female and you don't want to be a degenerate skank and you want to be a great woman, go to the 22 Convention and have a great time. Bring a friend free. If you have a boyfriend, for example, too, or a husband, he can go to the men's event and you can come for free to the 22 Convention, where you'll get the best mansplaining in the world, and even a few female speakers like attorney Melissa Isaac right here, Jennifer Molesky, and a couple others. Without further ado, though, become the ultimate alpha female, right? Anyway, without further ado, let's get into today's show. Appreciate you guys being patient with the 5-minute commercial there for our event. Please let me welcome to the show Allende from Authentic Alphas. Link to his channel in the description. How's it going, man?
AJ, what's up, brother?
Hey, man, doing good. Appreciate you coming back on the show.
Not always, man. I wanted to do something with you a little bit earlier, but it's all good, man. So how's everything going? How's your 4th, actually? How'd your 4th of July go?
Good. Yeah, I was out at the beach on 4th of July, I think. I wanted to go visit my buddy Tony Bruno. Or was it the next day? No, that was 4th of July, yeah. Yeah, so it's just simple shit like that.
I think I saw you on the beach. You was with your girl or something like that?
Oh, that was even more recently. That was last weekend. Yeah, that was at a different beach on the West Coast. Yeah, I'm a West Coast Florida man. I grew up near Fort Myers, Cape Coral. But both sides of the state are fucking awesome. So yeah, I had a good time.
Definitely. I mean, there's a ton of things to get into, man. Whether you like camping, hunting, jet skiing, the beach, surfing, there's a ton of things in South Florida for sure. I'm actually trying to get out to the Tampa Pro. You know, I'm a big bodybuilding enthusiast, so The biggest
cool.
bodybuilding competition in Tampa is first weekend of next month. So I might be out on the West Coast. Might be out there.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it, man. It's it feels like home to me, the West Coast, you know. East Coast is awesome too, but it's just different to me. The salt, kind of the environment, the geography is different. West Coast is like, you know, 2-foot waves, if that, if not it's flat, brackish water and shit where I grew up. Yeah.
Different vibe, different culture. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's funny you mentioned that picture of me and my girlfriend. Let me pull up. I could probably add that real quick actually. How do I overlay that shit? Let's actually talk about that because I think you'll find this pretty funny. Here it is. So one of the reasons I took this is to show that most, now you're not one of them, obviously, but a lot of the red pill alpha males in the manosphere, they can't pick up their women because they're beluga whales, as you may have heard. And, you know, like my buddy Conovan Sharp will probably throw his back out trying to pick up Miss Piggy. So our boy Conovan right here.
I mean, at a mathematical, you know, angle, I actually disagree with you because most implies more than half, and I think most of these guys don't even have a girlfriend to begin with. So numerically, that's it's impossible. I think more like 10%, 5% of them can't pick their girl up because only 20% of them have a girl. Oh man.
Well, they have a 5-finger girlfriend in a lot of cases. So you know, it depends on who they are. Though it depends on the guy.
No, but I always find that interesting because I know part of the topic for today is you know, fake versus real.
Yeah.
And one of the things I find real interesting is when guys are like giving this animate advice on marriage or a definitive opinion on marriage and have never been married.
Yep.
And then when they'll be like, absolutely don't ever live with a female, guys. And then it's like, you've never lived with a female before. Or they're talking about the dynamics of boyfriend and girlfriend, and they don't maintain a girlfriend. They don't like have a relationship, whether it's long-term, casual, whatever. Like majority of their life, vast majority of their adult life was without a girlfriend. Whether it's a girlfriend for a few months or girlfriend for years or girlfriend you were living with, there's no girlfriend. And I'm just like, how are we talking about? Because there's certain things you could say that are true, whether or not you're experiencing it or it happens to be your personal situation or not. It's a true statement. But these guys are like giving definitive advice on these things and in-depth opinions on it. And it's like, bro, but you don't have a girlfriend, man. You don't live with a woman. So I don't know. I find that part a little awkward, but I think that the manosphere is oversaturated with men that don't even have relationships, let alone a relationship where they're like this dominant male that they're telling guys you have to be. You're either this dominant male in this relationship or you don't date a woman at all. It's like, yeah, but you're not dating a woman at all.
Yeah. And they never have in a lot of cases,
And exactly, and they never have. So it's kind of weird to me. And I mean, I think
it's a really important point, though. The fundamental point, I think, of what you're saying is that there's constant speaking definitively, but out of hand. They have no firsthand experience or almost none, and like these hardline fucking stances on shit. It's like you don't even know. You read that off of Red Pill Reddit 3 years ago, and now you're just vomiting it on a YouTube for beta males who are even more clueless than you. So it's like the sheep following the betas off of a fucking cliff to nowhere. It's amazing.
And it's like to me, the issue is primarily the definitive, you know, statements like these red pill laws. You know, like we all have somehow took a vote and agreed that is 100% true. You never do that, and I feel like even if you were at the other end of the extreme, you were a guy that had a lot of experiences with relationships, you still can't say these things definitively. Because you could say, listen, I've lived with 5 women before, and each time it's been terrible. Each time the same thing started happening. Okay, first of all, number one, that's your personal experience. Number two, the common denominator there is you, not the women. So maybe you're the reason why it's been the same way every time. And then also, who are you to say that it's not going to be different for another guy? I can find just as many guys that are going to raise their hand and say, listen, I've lived with a woman and it's great. You know, I've lived with women several times, and I've been one to leave because I got tired of the girl, or I wanted a new girlfriend or whatever. But she was great though. It was good. I just thought, hey, maybe I can get a better looking girl, or whatever the case may be, or maybe I want to date a younger girl, but it wasn't that her terrible female nature and she cheated on me and she did this and no. Because I know guys that live with women and it's going great. I know guys that are married and it's going great.
Let's flip it on its head too, though, because we're looking at this from like a relationship standpoint, right? Like you're saying, living with women, kind of long-term stuff, but it also works in reverse. I know one red pill content creator, for example, you know him too, who shall not be named, Voldemort of the Manosphere, who has been married for almost 30 years, self-allegedly has never cheated, right? Has been faithful. Okay, fine. I got no problem with that. Be a man of your word, whatever. You put the ring on it. You went in front of your family and God and whatever. But that dude also just put out the player's handbook or guidebook or something like that. It's like, motherfucker, you've been with 40 women, which is not that many. There are high school quarterbacks walking around with fucking bigger like notch counts.
That's done that. That's done that in a month. That's done it in a month.
Yeah, and if you haven't been laid by a new woman in 30 years, what the fuck do you know about being a player? The last time you got laid by a new chick had a same.
There was no internet.
There was no internet, and Bill Clinton was getting blowjobs. Like that's how long this has been. This is just crazy to me. It's madness.
It is crazy, and the game has changed. Let me tell you something. I don't even view myself as old, but even I'm looking at it like, damn, the game has changed so much since 5 years ago. Like the game has changed dramatically. Even Tinder is nothing like Tinder was when it first came out.
That's right.
It's nothing like it was when Instagram ain't what it was. Everything has changed exponentially. It's like as time goes, things change, like it multiplies. It changes that much faster. I remember when Facebook first came out, and it's just.
I remember you couldn't even get on Facebook if you weren't in college. I was in high school.
Exactly, it was a college thing. It's funny you said that. It's funny you said that because that's how I got introduced to Facebook. It's like I was dating this chick that was in college, and I was like always up at the campus. I was staying at the campus, and then I felt left out because her and like all her friends and everybody, they could have Facebook, and I was like trying to like looking over people's shoulder, trying to peep in, like what's that? So you just message the person, and then wow, that's cool.
You can poke them and shit, dude. I'm so old. I mean, I'm 33, but I feel so old. When I got into pickup artist stuff and picking up chicks at bars and shit, you couldn't even send a dick pic. There was no such thing.
Yeah, no SMS.
Yeah, it was just basic, written text, if that. You had to get girls' phone numbers, like not some Snapchat, your Instagram. There was no such thing back then.
I remember waiting till after a certain time to call girls during the free nights and weekends, like when the cell phones first came out. I remember you calling a girl and you didn't know if she was ignoring you or she didn't pay her phone bill because back then people's phones would be off periodically, people's cell phones be off, and people would be like, "Yo, I'm back." Like, okay.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's good times, bro. It's really good times.
Even you might remember this too from old school pickup artist stuff. Back in the 2000s, it was very popular, and I did it. You'd bring out like a little camera, like a little point and shoot Sony Cybershot or whatever, and you would take pictures of chicks. And it's like this whole fucking game. One of my buddies eventually wrote a game called Camera Game. It was much different than that. It was more with like an actual DSLR camera, like a really nice camera, not the old club shit with the Sony Cybershot. But that was a big thing back then because no one had fucking phones on their camera or cameras on their phones. Like, or it's garbage. But
can I take it back further than that?
Go ahead.
Me and my boys, we used to like rent. We would rent like I remember one of our favorite cars to rent was the Ford Explorer with the pickup in the back. When they first started putting a bed in the back.
Yeah. Yep.
And we would take road trips. We would take road trips from New York down the East Coast. We'd go from like New York all the way to Florida, and we would stop at all these states. And just like meet girls, hang out with girls, try to like spend the night, get a hotel, hang out with girls. And we brought the Polaroid camera. That's how long ago.
Wow.
We have the Polaroid. Yeah, we buy them at Walgreens for like $44. I remember it was $44. It was like $44.
Well, let's explain. We got to explain to the Zoomers, what is a Polaroid camera? What is this Polaroid
camera?
It
was awesome. It's a camera. And like some of the newer ones kind of folded down. You press the button, it flipped up. You take a damn picture, and it would print the picture out right there, and you just do this, and then you take 2 or 3 of them, and then each person would get one. So like the girl would have one of her own to take and keep, and you would have. I still have a box of Polaroids. I still have it. I still have a box of all the Polaroids we took, like all the trips we would take, and all the hot girls we would meet, and it was just flings, bro. Like you meet the girl, you'd have a great weekend, and maybe 2 days, 2 nights, and that's it. You never saw her again, and because it was before social media, you couldn't like just go on Facebook and be like, yo, let me look this girl up I met in Virginia. I mean, you could today if you remembered their name or whatever, but good times, bro. I mean, it was all about adventure. It was about not knowing what was going to happen, what we were going to get into. And I think a lot of the younger guys today, they lack that element. Like when I talk to guys in their early 20s, they don't ever mention anything adventurous or taking any chances or just relying on their boys. And we don't know how we're going to do this, but we got each other. We'll figure it out kind of thing. And I don't know, bro.
Yeah, man. By the time I was like 20, 21, 22, 23, in my early 20s, I'd visited like 25 countries. So a lot of it for me was international because of the convention, but just personal stuff too. I would take backpacking trips with my boys down to like Costa Rica and Panama and shit. One time we got lost hiking around a fucking volcano down in Costa Rica. Like my buddy broke his ankle. Like it was a disaster, man. Like monkeys were chasing us and shit, and like it was fucking crazy. It was funny at first, and then there's memories though, yeah. And when the sun's going down and you're in the fucking jungle, it ain't so funny anymore. And you're like, oh, am I gonna die out here? Like fuck, bro.
Well, at least we die together, bro.
yeah. But that brings me to something I wanted to ask you about too. Now, I don't remember the exact dates you found the PUA stuff and the Manosphere, but you've been following it on and off for a long time, at least like 10 years or something like that.
Oh man, if I had to put a number on it, I'd say about somewhere around 2016-ish.
Okay.
So not too long. But I was like a quiet listener. I never really commented. I would always forget to like, but I consumed a lot of the content. I mean, I wouldn't watch like one video at a time because, you know, I'm an artist, I'm a painter, and then I'm always in the gym. So it's like I'm doing cardio for maybe an hour and a half. I might go through 4 or 5 videos. You know, I'm painting. I might paint for 3-4 hours a day. So I'm going through tons of content. A lot of
Well,
I think everybody. Go ahead.
What comes to mind though is like even from that time period, I think you've probably seen this, but especially in my perspective, 2005, I found it in high school until now. And the Manosphere, unfortunately, has strongly drifted towards like away from interacting with women and towards getting the hell away from them. And which isn't to disown, like, I don't agree with a lot of MGTOW, but I don't disown the fact that men getting out of harm's way is a good thing. I don't want to see men get wrecked in divorce court. I don't want to see men make stupid, reckless choices with relationships, with moving in too fast or whatever, you know, getting married without a prenup, all kinds of shit, right? But this is veered so far, and it's not just MGTOW, right? It's the black pill, a lot of the new age hyper red pill shit from Rolo, like the Rolo pill. These dudes like don't. When I came up in the Manosphere in 2005, 2008, 2010, you were strongly pushed to go talk to women as much as you could. Hundreds of approaches, thousands of women, whatever it takes to go out to a bar over a period of years and like get social, learn social skills, right? Learn through trial and error of, you know, lay reports and field reports, banging chicks. Stupid shit would happen when you're out with your buddies and shit, your wingmen. You know, your buddy would get laid, you'd almost get laid, you'd fuck it up at the last minute, you'd get cock blocked, the fat girl would come in. Like all that shit has been thrown out the window now. And a lot of it is just dudes who are terrible with women, giving the creators, never mind the guys who follow them, giving absolutely shit dating advice, hardline stances like we're talking about. Everybody's fucking clueless. Nobody's fucking getting laid. All they're doing is just bitching about women and jerking off and pretending they don't want women. And it's like it's just fucking crazy. It's madness. And it used to be much more like, dude, go talk to 1,000 women and shut the fuck up. Like,
definitely. I mean,
you put it well one time that you know, someone who shall be unnamed said they were in the Olympics of dating.
Right.
Or something, right? It's like, motherfucker, you were a spectator. You were a spectator.
Yeah, you were sitting down.
And I have no doubt Miami is a tough scene to go pick up chicks. No doubt. I've been a little bit down there with buddies and shit. But I know people who grew up there say the same thing. Like it can be a tough environment, no doubt. It's a big fucking city with its very hot.
I never felt that way, man. To be honest with you, I never felt that way. But then again, I'm very
well, you're also a bodybuilder and jacked as fuck. So,
but when I moved to South Florida, I wasn't bodybuilding.
Okay.
I just was a female enthusiast. I was a casual dating enthusiast when I first moved here, and I was always looking for girls that were more fun, more adventurous, more pleasant, because I'm from New York. And New York, I think, is the hardest place to meet and talk to and get along with women. It's very hard. New York is very get the fuck out of my face. You know, what do you want? You know, who are you? What do you want? You know what I mean? And anybody will say that to you in New York. New York is a place where you could be, you know, some big black gangster with tattoos, and you bump into a white dude with a briefcase, and the white dude's gonna be like, yo, watch where the fuck you're going. That's New York. You know what I'm saying? Everybody got heart in New York, and everybody's quick to tell you, fuck you, fuck your feelings. I don't have time to care about your feelings. So you can imagine how the women are in New York. Like, if you're not that guy, it's like, why are you even talking to me? And the guys are very aggressive in New York. It's like, hey, what's going on? What's going on, sugar tits? I see you. I like that sundress. What's up? What's your name? You got a boyfriend? Well, I don't give a fuck about him. Give me your number. I'll change your mind. That's New York. You know, everybody, everybody just says how they feel and how they are. So when I moved,
this is kind of like Trump, huh? Like grab him by the pussy kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. No, New York. Trump is from New York. So, you know, when I was like traveling, I was down to get on a plane, get on a bus, rent a car, anything to go somewhere else and experience. You know, the chicks, you know, of course you want to see the landscape. You want to eat here. You want to eat there. You want to see it for yourself. You want to go to whatever their car shows are. You want to go to whatever their major events are, their sporting events, blah, blah, blah. But let's be realistic. As guys, we also want to see the women. We want to experience the women of that place. So I was always interested in that. And when I finally landed in Florida, like on a permanently, it was like that last frontier from me, or that furthest frontier. Coming from New York, Florida was like the furthest state, you know, south. And I decided to move to South Florida because I kept going on spring break. Like, I kept going on spring break, and then one year I couldn't afford to go. All my boys were like, yo, we're going. And I was like, damn, bro, money's kind of tight. And then it dawned on me when I asked my friends from out of state, yo, you coming to New York this summer? Because New York is awesome in the summer, or at least it used to be. Sometimes they would say, yeah, I can't afford it. And I would think, too bad for you. I'm going to be here for all the parades and all the events in the summer because I live here. So I'm already here. And I thought, hold on, what if I use that same logic and I moved to South Florida? That way, every spring, I don't got to be like, can I afford to go to spring break? I live here already. So that was my thought process. And I decided, fuck it, I'm moving to Florida. So when I got here, I was enthusiastic about the challenge of Miami girls. I wasn't like, oh man, it's so hard to talk to these girls. I was like, let's do it. What do I got to do? Push-ups, more push-ups. I need more chest, more this. Do I need a sports car? We'll call it red. Put some rims on it. What do I need? So I was down to get the things that were going to attract the women, even if it was subconscious. Like, I wasn't necessarily saying, oh, I'm going to get this red sports car because it will get me more pootie tang.
It will get you genuine desire if you get the sports car. Genuine desire, right? And no, you want her soul? You want her soul? You suck her soul out with your red Lambo?
Bro, let me tell you something. That is not true. All of those things are just get your foot in the door, you know, type advantages. That's all they do. Women will be quick to tell you.
Make yourself a mark if you're dummy.
Well, that too. Yeah. But the women that aren't looking to use you, and guys act like that's just women in general and that's female nature. It's like, nope. That's the women you attract when you ain't got shit to offer. So it's just like when you put like rims and all this goofy stuff on your car, it's not that all women are gold diggers. It's that's gold digger bait. Hello? Yep. That's gold digger bait. So if you're a fisher, you know different type of bait is going to attract different type of fish. So if that's what your bait you're putting out, guess what? That's what you're going to catch.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm trying to say? So
honestly, that's an excellent analogy, and like every dude in the Manosphere needs to hear that. You go fishing, you use different kinds of bait, you catch different kinds of fish. They don't want to hear that though. Absolutely. They want to hear all these hoes ain't shit. All women are retarded. Durr.
Absolutely. Listen, I've had women that were into me because I could paint and because I had different type of talents. Mm-hmm. You could be a struggling artist, a struggling musician, a struggling visual artist, even a struggling comedian, and attract certain types of women because that's what they're into and that's what they want to breed. Like that's the characteristics they want their child to have. And that's going to hit them on a biological level, whether they like it or not. They don't have a choice in that particular matter. Now, if you're type of dude that got a lot of money, but your personality sucks, maybe you're not that fun, you don't tell fun stories, you're not entertaining, you haven't done much with life. I have clients like that where it's like they know everything about the stock market, they know everything about trades, they know everything about crypto, they know everything about finance, but they know nothing about anything else in life. And
Yeah.
they struggle on dates because the girls are just like, so you're gonna talk about crypto some more? And it yields what?
No, what about the NFTs, the NFT experts, right? We're all gonna get
That's
the
what
NFT
that's
fucking
what I'm trying
pyramid
to say.
scheme.
No girl wants to hear that type of bullshit across the
Yeah.
table. No matter, regardless if you're spending $300 on dinner, they don't want to hear that boring ass jargon. And I remember when I was in my early 20s, something that my girlfriend at the time had said to me, and she said, "You know what I like about you?" And I said, "What's that?" She said, "No matter what I do with you, where I go with you, it's always going to be fun." She said, "We go
Yep.
somewhere and spend $10, and I'll have an amazing time." And I thought to myself,
Yep.
huh. So sometimes you got to let girls tell you what they like about you because you might not necessarily know. And I think that's how you get better understanding what
Yeah.
are the things that work, what are the things that stand out to them. And then also when you listen to women talk about the guys that they actually remember. Because a lot of
Yeah.
these guys are so forgettable and they don't realize it. Like, you are forgettable. She
Yep.
doesn't remember you. But there are certain key guys in her life that she's going to remember. And it's not because he had the most money. It's not because he had this or that, unless there was some way she benefited from that. So she might remember the dude that had a ridiculous amount of money because he might have been taking her on these spending sprees and all these shopping sprees and doing this and doing that. But that's what she remembers about that guy. So everything stands out about so there's something that stands out about each guy that a woman actually remembers. But there are some things I wanted to say about the MGTOW situation. I'm gonna let you go, but there's some thoughts I had on that.
No, it's good, man. This is it's good commentary that men need to hear. Like,
Mm-hmm.
having all this money and shit, it doesn't always mean shit. And maybe that's you said it's what they remember about you. I wonder if that's all they remember. I don't know how to explain this. If a guy is really that loaded and takes her out and takes her across the country, takes her on a cruise, takes her on
Mm-hmm.
$10,000 shopping sprees, I don't even think a lot of times she remembers the guy. She won't even remember his
Nope.
face.
But
She remembers.
she'll remember this particular handbag that he bought.
Oh yeah,
She'll remember a particular shoe. Oh, I love these shoes. These shoes, they were from Italy. Oh my
She'll
god.
remember. She'll remember the
Mm-hmm.
receipt with the fucking $8,000 price tag on it. She'll remember the numbers. So yeah, you reminded me
Listen.
of my friend growing up too, man. Hang on, my friend Curtis growing up. He's dead now. He died of cancer when he was like 21, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
But he was a slayer with women when we were teenagers, man. I mean, brutal. Like when he died, a bunch of women, like 200 women, came to his funeral. He fucked
And
like half of
mourned.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were mourning the man he fucked.
No, I knew a
The
guy
man they
like
fucked.
that. It was crazy. I knew a guy like that. And it's
But
all personality.
it was, yeah, exactly. He was, dude, when we were teenagers, we were broke. Me and him were like, throwing mulch on people's yard for $40, like side jobs, right? But what he did with women, and now I understand it much better that I'm older, they had fun with him. They loved hanging out with him. They loved having fun. And then they loved sucking his dick because they love having fun. And that's what he provided for them every single time.
Girls just want to have fun.
Yeah, and he wasn't some clown. He wasn't like that. And if girls gave him shit, he had strict boundaries. He would. One time, this bitch was trying to give him shit in his car. We were driving around our hometown, Cape Coral, and she was throwing a fit, whatever. And he's like, he just slammed the brakes on the car. He's like, "Get the fuck out!" And she's like, He's like, "Get the fuck out!" He threw her ass out of the car on the side. It wasn't like a highway or nothing. It was like a side street. He fucking threw her ass out. And this is like when he had cell phones, that didn't even have smartphones. He immediately starts blowing his phone up. "Get the fuck back!" He's like, "No, fuck you." He just kept driving. He eventually turned back around like a couple minutes later, but he just ghosted her ass on the side of the street. And this is why this guy was a gangster with women. And when I was a kid, and I was probably 16, he was like 17. My jaw was just on the floor because I loved it, but I didn't understand it. I knew it was working. I could see her just getting fucking so triggered. And now I realize she was getting turned on by this shit because some fucking dude who would treat her like that. All these guys in the Manosphere, MGTOW and otherwise, they don't get that. Women love being, if they need to be, handled like that. And you don't ever hear these guys talk about that shit because it's all just bullshit to them.
Well, they want order. They want order. They want order. And they want structure.
Yeah.
And then who's not only willing to give it, but who's equipped to give it. And see the MGTOW thing. I have a couple things I disagree with the logic coming out of MGTOW today. Number one, you can't say that avoiding women or not cohabitating with women or not marrying women or not doing this or not doing that or any particular thing is going your own way. You can't say that because MGTOW is an individual man going his own individual way. Oh, hold on, guys. I think okay. There you go. You're back. So
Yep.
I feel like telling guys, hey, don't live with women, don't date women, don't marry women, don't have children. I feel like that is contradictory to MGTOW. It's an individual man, and I think that's where the misleading part is. Because when you say men going their own way, I think some people interpret that as like a group of dudes going somewhere. It's like no, man going his own way. A man going his own way. And if his way is being a father and having a family, he needs to cohabitate with a woman, marry a woman, and have children to accomplish his way.
Yeah.
So all the men that I looked up to when I was younger, that I admired, I wanted to be like, they all were heads of households and they all had families. They had their own thing. They did their thing. They had some type of skill, some type of craft. They added some type of value to the community as well as their family. There was something respectable and admirable about them, but being a father and a husband was normal.
Yeah.
To me, it was a normal aspiration. It's something you wanted to do, something you wanted to be. And then I remember when I got to like my early 20s, I was living with my older cousin at the time. He had already graduated college. He ended up having to be a school teacher because everywhere he went, they told him he was overqualified. He played football for Miami, University of Miami. And I remember us having these conversations where he'd be like, yo, bro, all my boys that are married, they all be telling me don't do it. Like they're all unhappy. They're all telling me don't do it. And then all of a sudden, it's like being a married man became something to avoid, right? Something that everybody was like, don't do. This sucks. This is miserable. And I'm like, well, where was that shift? Because I can't put my finger on it. I wasn't paying attention whenever the shift started to really happen or ramp up to where being a married man was what you didn't want to do. It was when now you became a sucker and you became a cornball and you were boring and your woman was controlling you and telling you what to do. And I'm like, well, that's not what I didn't grow up seeing that. I grew up seeing the opposite. The man telling the woman and the kids what to do, setting the rules, holding down the house, and him being respected and admired in the community. And all that single mom shit was a shame. Like you not only brought shame on yourself, you brought shame on your family. You brought shame on your great grandparents if they were still alive. If they were in their graves, they'd be like,
Yep.
So it's just conflicting messaging that I'm seeing being given to these young guys. And then I'm sitting back looking at it, thinking to myself, whether I was in middle school, high school, college, prison, anywhere you are at work, when you put a wager on it, it becomes more exciting. When there's something to lose and something to gain, any situation and scenario becomes more exciting. If you're playing video games, it's cool. You play video games with someone else, it becomes more exciting. And then if you put some money on it, you gamble on it, now it becomes real exciting.
Well, then you got skin in the game.
You got skin in the game. Grandpa said, yo, we got to rake up the leaves. I tell you what, we going to play Madden, and if I win 2 out of 3 games, you going to fucking rake the leaves, and I'm going to watch with some lemonade, bitch. All right, you're on. It made that football game exciting now because one of us is going to be raking up the leaves, and the other one's going to be laughing at him. Yeah. Okay, and have bragging rights. So when you're telling guys to avoid women and stop interacting with women and stop talking to women, I'm thinking to myself, you're making life boring because you're taking the gamble out of it now. You understand what I'm trying to say? Yeah. And if you're with your boys and you see a girl and you're like, damn, look at this girl right here, and your boys like, yo, go talk to her. You're like, yo, man, go talk to her. Now it's gonna be fun either way. Because you're either going to go over to get rejected and we're all going to laugh at you and we're going to tease you for the rest of the night. We're going to have a ball with it. Or you're going to go over there, you're going to get her number, you're going to have a few drinks, you're going to be winking from across the room and we're going to be like, that's my boy. Yeah. Either way, it's going to be more exciting is what I'm saying. Rather than
that brings me to something I want to ask you about. That you mentioned in passing to me, like very casually, but I think most guys in the Manosphere need to hear about it and understand it. And it's that when you were at a conference of sorts in Vegas, you picked up some girls on the fly, and I think you ended up fucking one of them and like all this shit. You basically pulled a girl like at a conference, just walking around, just doing your thing in a state you don't even live in. And to you, this is pretty normal. To me, I get this too. I've done this and I've seen this myself through other coaches and shit too. So for me, I get it too. But most guys in Manosphere are like, I feel so far removed from this that you could just go to a hotel for some other purpose, and then you're at a pool or something.
Exactly.
And you pick up a bitch, and then you bring her to her room and you fuck her. This
see,
is like
the thing is, did you pick her up, or did she pick you up though? That's the thing. Did you pick her up, or did she pick you up?
I mean, did you approach her, or depends how you went down? But
No. The point I'm trying to make is when you are in your value, right? In your value. What I mean by that is you are a commodity. You yourself are something that's desirable. Okay? In the business world, somebody wants to hire you. Somebody wants you to work for their company. All right? If you're an athlete, some sports team is trying to convince you to come play for them. Right? If you're a single or available man, some female
hey, you
wants
got
you to.
you got some noises in the background where you're at.
Yeah, sorry, my lady's making some coffee. So I mean, so a woman now sees you and thinks, damn, I want him. Does she want you just for the night? Does she want you for the weekend? Does she want to have the point is you're desired. So when that happens, did you get her or did she get you? Because if she noticed you first, she got you. She got you because she said, oh, look at this guy. Oh man, this guy's hot. Even if you go over there and talk to her first, you think you saw her first. It's like, hey, what are you doing? Hey, how are you doing? What are you doing here? Oh, I'm just visiting from blah, blah, blah. I'm here for work. Oh, me too. I'm here for work too. And, oh, yeah. Well, we should get a drink. Let's get something.
I mean, this is like a chicken of the egg argument. I get this, but if you still had to if she bumped into you on purpose, like girls do that, like they'll fucking brush into you and shit, that's her picking you up for sure. Or at least she's doing half the work or more. But if she did nothing to activate it and you had to go set that shit up, I'd still say you're responsible for it.
Did she do nothing? Because women are very subtle in their approach. Just making herself visible to you is her. Yes. Is her initiating it. She's like,
eye contact.
Yeah. Right. I'm gonna let him see me.
Yeah. The minute a girl gives me more than like 2 seconds eye contact, I'm like 80% chance she wants to fuck. Why is she looking at me? She's looking at me because she wants to fuck. She's looking at me because she wants my fucking DNA. That's what she's looking at me.
Right. So, and I think
guys don't get that.
Right. A lot of these guys, what happens is, I mean, it's like if you're talking to somebody who's like on the task force and they're telling you this exciting, adventurous story, if they're telling it to someone that's not on the force, this sounds like a movie to you because you're never going to experience it. But if they're talking to a rookie, he may have bigger and better stories coming in his career because he's in the field, he's in the realm, right? He just hasn't come across that experience yet. So for a lot of guys in the manosphere, they're coming from, like I said, a spectator perspective. They're never anticipating that they're ever going to be in a position to experience any of these things. They're not playing the game. When I was younger, I always knew that I was going to be playing the game. I knew I was going to be a bodybuilder. Right? When I was young, I was watching Conan and I was watching Rambo and Commando, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone, Jean-Claude Van Damme. That's all I was watching these damn action movies. And I thought the fighting was awesome. The muscles were cool. And when I would go hang out with my favorite uncle, we would watch Star Wars. We would play Mario Brothers. He would introduce me to his comic book collection and tell me, you better not get a wrinkle in not one page. You know what I mean? I read his bodybuilding magazines, and he told me then, he said, listen, you could look like this, and he would show me black bodybuilders, and because they obviously weren't in movies and stuff. He showed me black bodybuilders, and he'd be like, you can do this, and I'd be like, wow, this is possible.
Well, you had Apollo Creed, man. Carl Weathers is pretty jacked back in the day.
But that's what I said. Right. That's that's the generation that I grew up on. Yeah. So I knew that I wanted to be like that, like to do that, whatever it takes to do that. I knew I wanted to, I would watch Michael Jordan play basketball. As soon as the game was over, I'd go out and try to do that on the court. I'd watch Randy Moss, and I'd say, listen, when I get back on the football field, I'm going to try to do that. So when I saw older guys with beautiful girlfriends, I always knew I'm never dating a fat chick. I'm never dating an unattractive chick. I'm never dating a chick with a bad attitude. Like I already had these aspirations, like, yo, I'm gonna have a girlfriend like that. Like, yo, I can't wait until I'm old enough.
Well, look, man, if you're not gonna fuck fat women, you can't be in the manosphere. That's how it works as a content creator. Sorry, dude, you're out. You're out.
Bro, you shouldn't be nowhere near that. And I get it. Not everybody is gonna have the same options, and everybody's gonna have the same attractiveness level. Yeah. The point I'm trying to make is, when I was a skinny kid from Brooklyn, I already knew that I was going to work on these areas in my life, is my point. You know what I mean? I might not have had money, but I knew I was going to get money. I might not have had muscles, but I knew I was going to get muscles. I might not have had my own place and material things and nice clothes, but I knew I would get those things because I knew what was in between not having and having was effort. You know, effort and determination. Like, you have to be creative, you have to be determined, and you got to put in the work. You know, I was the kid that was down to go buy rakes, rake people's leaves in the fall. I was down to go buy shovels and shovel driveways in the winter. I was down to convince my boys to go and do this with me. So, like, I already had that leadership kind of mentality. Like, yo, I got an idea how we can get money. You know what I mean?
You were a man of action. You're always taking action. That's
right.
what makes you. That's what makes you succeed and win in life. Is you act. All these guys that suck and they just keep losing at life and they're bitching about women. It's like you don't do anything. No wonder you're in the friend zone with 400 women. Like, all you do is nothing.
And they act like that's a bad. They act like that's a bad thing. And it's like, to me, the guys have a lot of contradictory thought processes. Like, for example, they'll be like, I'm a nice guy and I treat this girl well and I'm always there and I'm always there for her. You know, but she doesn't want to date me, or she doesn't want to have sex with me. You know, she put me in the friend zone. How dare she? And then, you know, I'm analyzing this and I'm thinking to myself, everything you just listed are friend qualities. You should be so lucky to be her friend. You just said that you're always there for her. That's friend shit. You just said you always listen to her. That's friend shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you talking about? Like, you are right where you're supposed to be. She's valuing you exactly how you deserve to be valued. And I think I'm thinking, wait a minute, that's a good thing. If you were to say all of that and you'd be like, she doesn't want to hang out with me, she doesn't want to be my friend, then I'd be like, that bitch. Do you see what I'm trying to say?
They're getting a direct response to their actions. Their actions directly led to it.
That's what I'm saying. You're saying you're a good person. You're always there for her. You have a good personality. Like, bro, that's what you want in a friend. So you being in the friend zone, buddy, you are properly casted. You are right in the right role. The director, the casting.
Well, let's pause though, because a lot of the times behind that, it's not always fake, but a lot of the times this is really just a fake front these dudes are putting up because they think it's going to get in their pants. It's all bullshit. They're not her friend. They don't even want to be her friend. They never did.
And you cannot blame her for that, because that's the next hypocrisy, because you're over here saying like, she's using me and she doesn't really like me. It's like, you're pretending to be her friend and you really want to fuck her. So
you're trying to use her for her vagina. Like, it's a stupid trade. All you had to do is tell you want to fuck her the first time you start talking to her, basically, more or less, in some short time frame. I would just do it immediately very quickly with a lot of women, man. Let's talk about something else too. I think you'd be very qualified to talk on. What I've noticed, and maybe you've noticed this too, since 2016 when you found the Manosphere, but it's gotten particularly bad since about that time, like 2015, 2016. All these creators, all these ebook authors and Gumroad courses and all this shit, almost none of them these days, like almost zero, talk about how to fuck women, how to make out, how to kiss women, how to handle women. There's nothing physical. There's no kinetic. We used to call it Kino way back in the day in the Manosphere. There's nothing about touching women, handling women, making out with women, how to fuck women. Like, none of that shit. None of it. All they talk about nothing but hyper abstract. Hypergamy is, women have hypergamy like it's fucking herpes and AIDS, and we're all gonna die and we're all doomed. I mean, it's just amazing to me, like we talked about earlier, like how ultra hyper conceptual and abstract everything is fucking gotten. That gets men away from being physical, being in their bodies, being sexual with women, and being alpha. Not just in your head on the internet behind a fucking keyboard, like in her fucking face, in her fucking vagina. None of these dudes know how to do any of that shit. I could go pick out 10 Manosphere red pill content creators right now, and easily 9 of them don't have a fucking clue how to handle women. I think you do, just talking to you and based on what you've said to me in passing and what you believe, and what to you is casual, picking up a girl to pool and fucking her in the hotel room an hour later or something, or that night. Like, that to me tells me you know how to handle women, you know how to talk, you know how to walk, you know how to pick them up, walk around. That's another reason I picked my girlfriend. It was just stupid, simple shit, like just at a beach, right? Just goofing around. But like, dudes, when's the last time you saw a red pill YouTuber do this? Like, never. I mean, like I said, I think
any guys do it, to be honest with you, nowadays.
Yeah, exactly, man. Well, I mean, you can't take whales out of the water in Donovan's case, but
but women will tell you that's one of the key things that they want and like and it influenced their selection in men. I've heard many women literally say, like, you look like you could just pick me up, or you look like you could just break me. And it's like,
you ever picked up a girl at a club, just walk around with her like this? I've done
I
that
used to
shit
be
over my shoulder, man.
I used to be a male dancer, so like that's part of the
Yeah.
job description. You pick them up and carry them to the private room to do the dance.
Yeah.
But there's a couple of things that you said there that were very interesting and hit home. Number one, you used the word kinetic.
Yes.
And that's something that I learned when I was much younger in school, is that females learn through audio, through talking, and through facial expressions and things like that. Boys learn kinetically. They learn hands on. That's how we learn as boys. We learn by taking things apart, putting it back together. We learn by trying this. Does this work? Nope. What if I try this? Okay, what if I try this variation? Process of elimination. That's how boys learn. We learn by tampering with shit physically. We learn how to hunt by going out there in the hunt and failing and saying, okay, this animal beat me this time. How do I track this animal? How do I outsmart this animal? How do I overpower this animal? How do I outrun this animal? It's all kinetic, right? So we see differently than women. Our eyes are adapted to see movement much better than women. Women's eyes are adapted to see color much better.
Yeah.
So because they're choosing things based on the color, right? Based on the hue. Whereas guys, we're testing our environment, right, based on interacting with it physically. So I think that's very valuable that you just pointed that out.
Yeah.
And the next reason why that hits home is that lately a lot of guys have been reaching out to me and trying to request how I could help them be better with those very things: kissing girls, touching girls, being intimate with girls, pleasing girls in the bedroom. And it's a task for me to kind of, I guess, sit down and try to figure out, how the hell do you design this curriculum?
It's very hard without learning it firsthand.
Right, because I remember one guy came to me and he was like, how much to do a video on it? And I gave him a particular price. And I said, the reason why you're going to have to give me this price is because the way this video has to be done. I can't look at the camera and do a video on how to kiss a girl. What do you want me to do? Kiss? You want me to kiss air? You want me to tell you with my words? So I was like, the way this has to happen, or the best way I could see it working, is if you're going to pay me and you're going to pay at least one girl, and I'm going to have to kiss said girl on camera so that you can see it. Yeah. And then you're going to get her feedback as to what worked for her, why it worked for her. And then if you really want to do this in depth, it would have to be at least like 3 girls, because not every girl's the same. But it's not about knowing this one way that's going to work with every girl. No, It's about knowing how to interact with an individual female to gauge what she likes, to learn from her body language, from the pace of her heart, from her breath, how she's breathing, the moaning, all these type of things. You're going to have to learn how to identify it.
Let me add a theory to complicate this a little more, but I think you'll appreciate it. This is a theory I had like a week ago. It's not a theory out of nowhere. It's based on my experience with women, and I think you'll be on board with it too. I think everybody, male and female, you have like a sexual personality. Obviously, you have sexual preferences, and fetishes and kinks, whatever, right? Little shit you like to do, don't want to do, whatever, right? Jewish girls say they don't want to suck dick, whatever. It's bullshit. They all fucking will. And every kind of girl is going to say, girls from New York will be like that. Girls from Miami will be like this. All this bullshit, right? But as a man, what I've found with women over many years is my own preferences for what I want to do. What works not only through trial and error, at least in my N=1 anecdotal experience, but like what I like to do, what I want to do, and how I'm able to move a situation forward. For example, one thing I always noticed, that most of my makeouts I ever got, I usually didn't kiss the girl first on the lips. I would kiss her on her neck. I'd kiss her on her neck. That would be, a few minutes in. It could be 5 minutes. It could be 20 minutes, whatever. But I wouldn't go for her lips or even her face. I'd go for her neck. And after I kissed her on the neck, I'd suck on her neck. After that, it's a done deal. If you could suck on a girl's neck in public, even if you're both stone sober, chances are you could easily make out with her fucking mouth and then easily fuck her not easily, but most likely you're going to fuck her that night. But most guys don't have a clue about this, right? Like, how do I get to make it? How do I get
they're not passing these thresholds. They're not passing these thresholds because, women need to be warmed up. And women have said that, you could find plenty of content where women are saying, women are like ovens and men are like microwaves. You got to kind of listen to those type of things because there's a lot of truth in what they're saying. It's just that when women talk to each other, they understand each other. So you need an interpreter. You need to learn how to translate what they're saying to what they mean.
Well, old school PUA terminology would actually be buying temperature. And that is like raising their temperature. You get them hot.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of that's physical. It's being kinetic. It's touching them, touching their elbow, shaking their hand, whatever the fuck it is. It doesn't matter.
And there has to be some push and pull involved, because the idea is to gradually nudge them in that direction, but to constantly keep a boundary so that they feel comfortable, because there also is the element of you being a man and you being bigger than them, stronger than them, overpowering them, then you being a stranger. This is uncharted territory for you. So she has a particular boundary or line there.
You have to be calibrated. If you're not calibrated, you'll fuck it up. And you're going to do that, and you're going to learn the hard way. That's what I did.
It's thinner or thicker depending on the girl, her experience, and depending on how she feels about you as an individual. But there still is some type of line there. And I heard one girl refer to it as a sexual boundary. And, she was all into... she's a therapist or whatever. She went to school for it. But there is a line, a sexual boundary. And for some women, it's very thin. Maybe they were molested. Maybe they're a slut or whatever. They've been around. But there still is a line, is my point. How thick or how thin it is, it varies. But like you said, you have to be able to calibrate it. So if you're coming in too strong, too much, too fast, too consistent, what happens is you're going to hit that line, and then it's going to be a resistance, and then she's going to push you away, and now you've fucked it all up.
Unless you can recover. It depends how good your recovery game is too. I've pushed way too far, way too fast with chicks, but I also learned how to pause, kind of slow down, pick things back up, and then escalate over again. Just even out in public, I go to the bar, she's not like pissed, but I pushed too far too fast. Let me chill out, hang out there for 5-10 minutes, try again. But guys, that's the thing, is the manosphere these days doesn't teach guys anything about this. Even conceptually.
Well, can the guys even teach it? Can the guys that are there even teach it?
They can't. It's all a scam. It's so sad, man.
Again, I know we're doing the whole say no names things, but Despicable Me from the FNF boys. Every time you hear something about him and a female, it's always super awkward. The girl was not feeling it. The mojo wasn't there. Right. So that's what I'm trying to say. And then the question is how are we telling guys how to deal with women if you yourself don't even have that experience? Because I have that experience, and it's still hard to put it into words. It's still hard to describe it to someone that's not familiar with it. And to be honest with you, I'm not as good as I used to be. That's something I've noticed. Coming up on 40, I'm nowhere near what I used to be. I'm not as charismatic. I'm not as good of a kisser. I'm not as good as in bed. I'm none of these things, because when I was younger, I had a lot more ambition for it, and I was a great kisser because I had to be. You know what I mean? There's women that will tell you, one of their complaints in a long-term relationship will be, he doesn't even kiss me anymore. He doesn't kiss me like he used to. Yeah, because he doesn't have to anymore. In the beginning of a relationship, bro, you gotta be a magician, Don Juan, everything gotta be, because you're trying to get in there, right? Once you get in there, you slack, you lack off, you're like, whatever, you just give it a little.
It's very easy. It's very easy to get in there, like that.
Right. It's easy to get complacent. It's easy to get complacent, right? So, so if you take the 25-year-old me versus the 40-year-old me, listen. It is an interesting matchup, because there's plenty of things that the 25-year-old me cannot even compare to, can't come close to. But there's a lot of things that the 40-year-old me, I can't hang with the 25-year-old me. I just don't got it anymore like I used to.
If you were a hunter, you were a slayer when you were more active with it. Yeah, I know the feeling, man.
Right. Yeah. Now I'm like, sitting home having things handed to me. I gotta work for nothing anymore.
My buddy Socrates says he's been in a relationship for a while, but he spent many, many years hunting down chicks at bars and fucking them. And he would say, look, when you're single, you got to hunt for your food. That's how it is.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, whether it's even if it's a girl you already fucked, you got to keep that going. Go to a bar, get a new chick. Go on Tinder, get a new chick. You got to hunt. And
the sex drive is way up there.
Yeah.
when it's not guaranteed. When it's not guaranteed, and you got, every night you got to go out there and say, can I do it? Can I pull it off? And then also, you got to keep the level high. Like I said, I was very picky. Very picky with chicks. I was never the one that would do the 4s and the 5s and the 6s. I'm just, it's not me. Yeah,
Same.
I'm not, and I'm not knocking anybody that is. Like, I'm not trying to shame any guys, is what I'm saying.
Well, in the Manosphere, those are called 9s and 10s, the 4s and the 5s and the 6s. So they just like escalate these numbers.
It's just a lack of enthusiasm, I think. And I think the bar has been set so ridiculously low that the guys that can't measure up to what it should be make excuses to justify it. And those excuses sound like women's hypergamy. It's like women's hypergamy is a great measurement. I'm sorry. Yeah. Women setting a standard to where guys have to be better, I think it's good for everybody. But to complain about it because you can't reach it, I'm telling you right now, there's no tall, handsome, or rich guys out there complaining about women's hypergamy.
Did you know this is a real quote? This is a hard 9. Her body is a hard 9, maybe even a little higher.
That's who?
That's Devon Sharp. This is a real quote from Donovan. A real quote in audio. I transcribed it.
Yeah, I mean, see, that really threw me off. Like, that threw me off. Going to that convention, it really threw me off because I'm just like, why are you why are you? I don't know.
He's a
it's
hog
tough.
hunter, man. Hog hunter.
It's tough. I couldn't figure out. I couldn't figure out what that was about. Like, I don't know what that pairing is about. And the only thing valuable that can be taken from that, in my opinion, right? The only thing that I think is good advice coming out of that situation is men putting themselves in a position to hire their significant other. That's the only thing that I respected about it. And I told him that. I said, yo, what I thought was really cool was the fact that you employ your woman. That's it.
Well, that might be the official arrangement, but I think she actually has taken over the business. She actually runs.
That was back. Right, that was back in the beginning. Now it just looks like she took over the whole damn show, and I'm just like, how do you have a show for men on a male platform? This is supposed to be the Manosphere, and you're letting her run the whole show.
Let's talk about this. This brings up an important point because someone was asking me on my Twitter the other day. They asked about 3 red pill chicks in particular. The three, like these chameleon chicks, right? Like the pearly things and her friends and shit. But Devon is another one. And basically the old Donovan, old Conovan, old Rollo from a couple years ago, 2018, shit like that. They were all like anti-women in the Manosphere, never let women in the red pill, no women are red pill ever. There's no such thing. These are like actual quotes you can get from them a couple years ago.
Yeah, but that's the bandwagon though. That's the bandwagon. Now, I'm not sure which 3 girls you're talking about. The only one you mentioned was Pearly Things. So now what I will say is my experience with Pearly Things, she's actually not a chameleon. Like, she actually believes all that shit that she says. And I think she just has a unique standpoint on these issues for a female. That's all that it is. I don't think it's really that special. I don't think it's something that guys need to really stop and be.
I disagree. I think she's a chameleon. Her little friend is even worse, though. Pearly is not the worst by far. She's the least of the problems, I think. Her little friend, the little short one, I don't know what her name is.
I have no idea. I haven't really been tuning in. So my experiences with her are not from watching like her content. My experience with her is like interacting with her, talking to her myself. And I think she does believe a lot of her talking points or her views. And I think she just realized that, hey, this is something cool I can do and maybe make some money. Not that she needs it because she comes from money. So I think she just genuinely enjoys making this content. Now, for whatever reason, I don't know. If it's an amicable reason, I don't know. Does she really actually want to help dudes? I don't think so.
I'm not saying also, by the way, that I don't think she disbelieves everything out of her mouth. She's not like she's not like a super fraud or anything.
You mean she doesn't care about guys? Because that I don't believe. I don't think she's doing it to like help guys or to benefit dudes. I don't believe.
Yeah, I think that's kind of where I'm going with it. I think she's just kind of pandering to simpy beta males who are actually into her, even though she looks like an ogre.
I think she's getting attention. She just likes attention like any other women. I think she found something she enjoys doing that she's being well received.
Femme Sapien is the one. I don't know her real name. Femme Sapien is Pearly's little friend.
I have no idea
I don't know. She
Hold
blocked
on.
me on Twitter. I never even talked about her before, and I've looked through her Twitter and I was blocked. I'm like, what the fuck?
Are you addressing any questions? Any questions that you're getting?
Yeah, we got one we can go over. By the way, the dude asked about Sizzle, Miami, that whole situation.
Yeah,
Want
you
to
know
talk
what?
about
I
that?
was gonna tell you. Well, we already talked off camera about you addressing that and bringing that up. So I guess
Sure.
they did it. They did it for us. Okay, so what
Yeah.
about it? Like I don't know. It just seems like you want to gossip.
Goomba.
Ask a direct question, bro. That's just weird that you're like, what about Sizzle
Yeah.
in Miami? Like, what about it?
He's probably
What's
still
the
in the
context
chat.
of your question?
Yeah, let's see what he says.
Yeah, tell him to
But
phrase that. Tell him to phrase that question.
I think he will in a minute if he's still watching. That was about 10 minutes ago. Not even.
Right,
Yeah,
because
something like that.
there's no context to the question is what I'm trying to say. Is he acting like this is some type of gotcha moment? Because the thing that's crazy is that the people that are talking about it, whether it's guys in the comments or the actual content creators, they're all operating under this pretense that it's some kind of gotcha moment. It's not a gotcha moment if I brought it up long before anybody else. Like I talked about it on my channel long before anybody else. I made a video actually going to a gay club and interviewing a straight dude that worked at a gay club and him telling you the benefits of not boycotting that industry or that environment. And this dude is engaged and lives with a woman, but he makes great money working at a gay club, far more than he would if he worked at a mainstream establishment. So if you're a bartender and you're a good looking guy, you're going to be hard pressed to find a place you're going to make more money bartending than a gay bar. And does that mean you're gay all of a sudden because you serve drinks at a gay bar? Let's not forget the advantage that young attractive women have using their sexuality is that they can profit off of it without actually doing or being interested in whatever. So a good looking girl can go bartend somewhere and make a ton of money. She's not sleeping with the guy she's selling drinks, dummy. She's just benefiting off of the fact that they find her attractive. That's it. So how is it that when a guy does that all of a sudden, now we have all this criticism, but yet we live in a world where that is the unspoken understood advantage that young attractive women have, is that wherever they work, if it's a tip-based industry, they're going to make more tips if they're young and beautiful. All right, so that's the deal with Sizzle. And it's funny to me that I have all these guys criticizing and judging me, yet they could never relate because nobody's paying them for their likeness. It's one thing to criticize what a football player decided to do contractually, but yet you don't fucking play football and nobody's offering you any goddamn contracts to play football, and you're over here speculating on what this football player shoulda, coulda, woulda did. Oh, he should have signed this contract. Oh, he should never did that. He should have. Oh, I'm sorry, you play football? People are signing you to play football. So what do you know about what a contract looks like to play pro football? So you're over here criticizing what gigs a model decided to do, yet you are not a model. And there's nobody paying you for your damn pictures. There's nobody paying you for your look. And you're saying, oh, if you model for that underwear company, you gay. You gay. Right? And I thought it was funny that one of the images that one of these content creators tried to use to make a point, he showed a picture that I took in Speedos and was like, look, you see this, the guy in this picture? The guy in this picture is gay. Okay, now hold on. There's a difference between a dude going to the beach or going to the pool in a pair of Speedos that he chose, because this is the swimwear that he wears when he goes, recreationally to the beach. There's a difference between that and a guy that has never in his life wore Speedos other than being paid to wear them in a photo shoot or a runway show. You see what I'm trying to say? So if I do runway and the outfits that I wear, the outfits that I wear in the runway, you're gonna try to tell me that's my fashion sense because they paid me to wear that to do a runway show? I've never worn it other than to do that runway. I put it on, I took it off and gave it back to them, but now that's my fashion sense.
What about at bodybuilding competitions? Don't you wear Speedos too?
You see, I was gonna go there with it too, because I remember when I first started dancing, and like all my boys from back home found out about it. I was talking to my boys from back home. They're like, yo, what the fuck? You be wearing thongs and all this shit? I'm like, no, my dude, I've never owned or wore a thong in my life. They'd be like, you wear G-strings, dog? You wearing some fucking G-strings, my nigga? Like, no, I'm not wearing any G-strings. I've never worn or owned any G-strings. They're like, so, what you be dancing in? Because these are my friends. So they're just trying to understand it. So when I showed them the pictures, they're like, you dancing in them little briefs? I'm like, yeah. And they're like, yo, that look like what they wear, like what the wrestlers wear. I'm like, it's exactly what the pro wrestlers wear. I was like, this is also the same thing the bodybuilders wear. Exactly the same thing, because the same person that makes them sells to bodybuilders and male dancers. And they're like, oh, I mean, whatever then. I'm like, exactly. But it's funny how some guys would see that and they'd be like, oh, you wearing them little gay ass trunks. It's like, well, how come you don't say that about bodybuilders? How come you don't say that about what you call it, Hulk Hogan? You know what I'm saying? How come you didn't say that about the Ultimate Warrior? It's the same. It's the same. We're in the same thing, bro. We're in high boots and these little underwears. The same thing that the wrestlers jump off the ropes with. So it's just however people want to perceive it. And the moment that I accepted I don't have control over how other people perceive things, that's when I stopped caring. Because when I started dancing for women, guys that were envious or jealous or just haters or whatever, they'd be like, oh, all male dancers are gay. So, okay, you dance for women, you're gay. Yeah, you dance for women, you're a stripper, you gay. So then I thought about it, why am I turning down all of these gigs to do gay events if when you dance for women, people are still going to say you gay? So it just didn't make sense to me. It's like I'm turning down money because I don't want people to get the idea that I'm gay, but then I'm over here dancing for women and people are still saying, yo, you gay. So I was like, you know what? If people want to say that, they're going to say that either way. And then the same athletes and the same actors and rappers that these guys be glorifying and supporting, those dudes actually are gay. They actually are doing gay stuff to get their contracts and to operate in those industries. I know this for a fact. If you think dudes in Hollywood aren't doing gay stuff, okay, the casting couch goes both ways. People act like Harvey Weinstein was just touching on young pretty girls. No, the casting couch is
look at Kevin Spacey, right? I mean, that kind of, there's tons of shit like that.
Right. Even look at this guy right now that they're exposing. Was Casey a perfect example? So even in the religious world, the casting couch is present. So it's funny to me that you over here calling people names for things that they chose. Okay, I chose to work at Sizzle. I chose to accept their contract. There wasn't no, let me touch your butt, let me do something gay, and then we'll give you this contract. No, the whole point is they had to pay me to even consider tolerating that environment. It's not I wanted to be in that environment and they were like, oh, well, you're gonna have to do something. You're gonna have to do something for me if you want to be in this environment. No, it's I don't want to be in this environment. So you're gonna have to pay me handsomely for me to be in this environment, right?
I got this meme too. I pulled up. I love making these. I got my boys make. I got the best meme guys on the internet, man. A whole mafia of them.
You guys have making. You guys have made an art out of that, bro. You guys have made an art out of that.
I love Blade 2, man. I didn't want to do this to Wesley Snipes. Blade 2 is an amazing movie. I mean, Blade 1's good too.
Somebody's asking. Somebody's asking, what do you think about Andrew Tate's popularity?
Where's that?
Well, it's not on you. It's on mine. Somebody's asking.
Okay.
What do you think about Andrew Tate's popularity?
Yeah, I got no problem with Tate. People keep bitching about him. He took over the internet yesterday. I mean, he is. I think he got nuked off Twitter by like officially like Twitter fucking corporate a few months ago. I think it really pissed him off, and he just has like an army now of dudes uploading videos of him everywhere. I think there's like 50 to 100 guys just uploading videos on TikTok and Instagram and YouTube of him constantly, like every day of the fucking week. They're uploading viral videos of him faster than they get banned. And because of that, he's just like winning on the internet. He's just going super viral. I have people from high school I've been talking to in 10, 15 years DMing me on Facebook and shit about Andrew Tate because I'm in the videos with him, interviewing him, telling you to the interview, you sit down with him. So I got no problem with Tate. These people bitching about him, calling him a fraud and shit. I mean, people are stupid, man. Tate's a sociopath for money, but I think he's great. I got no problem with the guy.
Yeah, likewise, man. I like him a lot. And I think that there needs to be more of a separation between individuals and who they choose to, sit down across the table from and do an interview, because like everybody's acting like the Manosphere has to be like all clicked up. And if you associate with this person or you work with this person or talk to this person, then you must dislike all the people they dislike. And to me, that is so like, that's so like a grade school caddy. That's like, to me, that's such a feminine mentality. Like, oh, if you talk to her, then you can't be friends with me. And it's like, who said that any of us are friends? Who said that we're not just associating? We're associates. We're in a space exchanging ideas. You don't have to like or dislike someone to be motivated to challenge their ideas or agree with their ideas. And just because you don't like somebody doesn't mean you can't agree with some of the things they say. And just because you do like someone doesn't mean you can't disagree with some of the things they say. So I think the way that a lot of the viewers as well as the content creators are behaving over disagreements is very feminine in itself, or very anti-man to me. It's very anti-man because I feel like part of masculinity is being able to be sound and logic and reserved to an extent where you can separate people from what they do and what they say, what they stand for, what their message is, and that you can think about these things logically without throwing in your personal opinion about the person into it. Because a lot of people
come after people bitch at me about, you know, still supporting Tate, and they're like, well, Tate hangs out with fake and shit.
I was just about to say that.
I'm like, dude, he's not stupid. He knows they're frauds. Like, hello. I'm not going to demand though that he goes after them and attacks them. That's his prerogative to do that or not do that for whatever reason he wants. I'm not going to bully him into it.
Right. He doesn't care about that. And see, that's the thing. For him to be able to, for him to say to me, like, look, because he messaged me like right after I had that little physical, interaction with him, and he was just like, yo, man, is everything okay? Everything is good. I'm like, yeah. He's like, all right, well, listen, I mean, if you're not getting along with those boys anymore, that, whatever, that's cool.
Yeah.
Men disagree. But when I'm in Miami, I still want to get together and have a conversation with you like we planned. And I was like, all right, cool. And very few people took that standpoint. So to try to gauge people through a screen, it's not easy. It's not always going to be accurate. Some people are a good judge of character, but it's difficult to judge people through a screen. But when you've met people, you've interacted with people, and then you've seen people in certain situations and then saw how they chose to react, that's how you begin to come to understand someone's character. So, there's plenty of guys that be like, oh, my girlfriend would never do that. Oh, I got a good girl. My girl this. And I'd be like, stop. Shut the fuck up. You do not know what your bitch will do until she's in that situation. Don't tell me she'll never divorce you. Don't tell me she'll never take your kids. Don't tell me she'll never take your property. Until you've gone through a divorce with her, you do not know how she looks in a divorce.
There are millions of men who had that same line of thinking. She would never do that.
Exactly. And you thinking, yo, this is my boy, this is my dog, and then something happens and he's singing to the police like a canary. That's not your boy. But you thought he would never, but then he did. But if a situation happened and he was like, I don't know, no, I'm not going to talk.
Someone too said Tate threw the red pill under the bus. Look, Tate is very red pill, but a lot of the red pill has become this bullshit. I mean, this is considered red pill, wifing up an old, aging, almost half a century old, obese single mom, who
it's becoming bastardized.
It's sick. Like, I don't blame him for throwing the red pill under the bus because a lot of it's just the roll-up pill. That's why the black pill exists and MGTOW, because they rejected a lot of his crap. And it's just
everybody's trying to pimp it out and make money off of it is the problem. Yeah. And so what happens is it stops being about content creators inspiring the listeners and the viewers and agitating thought and making people think about things, dissect situations, and be more self-aware, be more responsible. It stopped being about that, and it started being about looking at the analytics and saying, okay, what's going to make me more money? Okay, let me pander to them because I'm going to make more money. Let me tell guys it's not their fault because I'm going to make more money. Let me money. Let me work with this person
instead of the truth, it became about super chats.
That's right. That's what I'm trying to say.
That's the bottom line, man. It's sick.
Right, and you can't give tough love when you're too busy worrying about offending the guys that are going to give you the super chat money. So now what happens is everything gets watered down and everything gets bastardized, and we don't know what's true anymore. We don't know what to believe. We don't know what to think because these guys are in here with the wrong intentions. And I'm not saying that they all started with the wrong intentions, but it got that way when they started making money. Because what happens when you start making money is you start buying shit, you start leasing shit, you start financing shit, you start increasing your cost of living. So now you have to maintain that money to pay for your lifestyle. So now it starts to compromise the integrity of what you're doing. And that's across the board. That's not just on YouTube. That's anything that people do. I don't care if you make records, I don't care if you print magazines, whatever the hell you do. Once you upgrade your cost of living, now you have to prioritize the income, and it starts to overshadow the art and the integrity of the work. And that's where we are now in the Manosphere, because it's grown to this this awkward place where it's not big enough to be mainstream, but it's not small enough to be genuine. If you understand what I'm trying to say, we're too big to be authentic, but we're too small to be mainstream.
That perfectly encapsulates where the Manosphere is at right now. Like a woman, because that really nails it. And I've seen it since 2005, and you're right. It's gotten polluted by, I wouldn't say money, but greed. And I guess that's part of the process when more money gets involved. That's naturally what some people are going to do. I do think it, and I hope that it gets better as it gets bigger. But an awkward, like puberty or some kid growing up, growing pains, I think that's where it's at right now. And I've never seen or heard anyone say that, but you nailed it. That's exactly where it's at in 2022. And I hope it gets better. I'm trying to make the Manosphere great again.
Yeah, I mean, and that's something that like I noticed about your message a long time ago, because like I used to come across things that you were involved in from way back, and it just was like every time something involving you comes up, it always seems to have an element or an air of make men better, make men better. There's always something about improving the state of men.
Yeah.
Right. So it doesn't matter if you're making a few thousand doing that or if you're making millions doing that. As long as that core principle stays genuine, we're all good. And I think every person that does something for profit should have a particular agenda that they've already decided. Like, this is what I want to do. Like at the core, now it's like, how much can I make doing that? But that part shouldn't change. And I think for too many people, that changes. You understand what I'm saying? Like, what are you trying to do at the core if that's changing? So, I mean, as a personal trainer, if my goal is to like simplify people's fitness goals for them and make them realize that it is obtainable, it is achievable for to do what you're trying to do, then there's nothing wrong with me trying to maximize how much money I can make doing that, though. That hasn't changed. Showing you that whatever it is that you want to accomplish fitness-wise, you can do it. It's just a matter of you understanding what needs to be done and what you need to stop doing, and then how you can create a consistency in that. How can you create a self-discipline that's going to allow a consistency so that you can start moving towards that goal? If that core principle does not change, and I end up becoming a millionaire in the fitness industry, then I'm good. But when it becomes about just selling people anything, telling them whatever I got to tell them to get the most amount of money, how can I get the most amount of clients, and how can I hire people to pretend to be me on the other side of the keyboard? Now we fucked up, because now it's not about. Right.
It's very self-destructive too, though, when they do that. And that's what I think a lot of these like fanboys and these guys who are just like simps for dudes, they go from being simps for chicks on OnlyFans to simps for dudes on YouTube. So
that's exactly what I said when I got to that podcast. When I sat there and helped them create that, I realized I fucked up. I made a monster, because I had a different goal, is what I'm trying to say. Like we're all working together to do this particular thing, to create this thing, but we all had different reasons for wanting to create it. I wanted to create it to bridge the gap between men and women in the Manosphere, because there's an issue with the communication. Because when guys say what they're saying, they're labeled as misogynist and women hater. I'm thinking to myself, when I talk about female nature, it ain't because I hate women. I love women. What are you talking about? I don't want to go anywhere where there's no beautiful women. I'm not interested. I'm not interested in no cruise, no trip. No, I'm not trying to go. No. Hey, listen, we're booking you on this private flight. Are there going to be girls? Are there going to be beautiful flight attendants? If there's not going to be beautiful women there, it's not a destination I'm interested in. So it's not that I hate women. And I believe that life cohabitating with women is better. But obviously, you have to have a relationship that's beneficial to both people. If you're a sucker or you're a simp, then no, you're not going to enjoy living with that woman. She's not going to enjoy living with you. She's going to enjoy that she doesn't have to pay the bills, and she can use you and take advantage of you, but she's going to resent you because she's not attracted to you. She's going to hate sharing a bed with you. And you're going to hate being used and being taken advantage of, and you're going to hate living with a miserable woman that resents you. So obviously that's not a good scenario. But if you're in shape, you're a good-looking guy, you're trying to take care of yourself, you're doing the best you could do with the genetics you got, you're making good plans, you're managing the money well, you're making sure that your woman is happy because you're making her apply herself, to achieve what she wants so that she doesn't take anything for granted. She's happy, but she's not happy because you're trying to make her happy. She's happy because you're aiding her and making herself happy. Like I tell women all the time, I can't make you happy. I tell my woman, hey, listen, if you're not happy, that's not my responsibility. Okay? I can help you with whatever your issues or your problems are. Let's talk about it and let's see what we can do. But I'm not responsible for your fucking happiness. So living with a happy woman that's domesticated, to me, is better than living alone. That's my personal opinion. Some people might disagree. It also depends on where you are in your life. When I was younger and I was a bachelor, I didn't want to be around a woman for more than 48 hours, bro. After a period of time, I'm like, yo, listen, don't you got somewhere you need to be? Because I want my fucking space. Yeah, I want my space again. So it depends on where you are, which, you know, in your life. And then I hear a lot of guys saying, oh, I'm never going to have children. This world is terrible. Never have children. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Do you think that during the Holocaust, Jewish people were saying they're not going to have kids anymore? Do you think during slavery that black people were saying they weren't going to have kids anymore? I mean,
medieval times, man, Black Plague and shit. Like,
right. That's what I'm trying to say. At what point in history did human beings say it's not worth it to have kids anymore? The world sucks. I'm not having kids, man. I'm going MGTOW. I'm going MGTOW monk. It's just going to be me by myself. I'm going to go live in a cave by myself. I don't like women. I don't like children. I don't like people. At what point in time is that the position that men took? And guys are acting like life has never been harder than it is today. That is the most pansy ass bitch shit that I've ever heard in my life. My grandfather had it harder than me. Right. My grandfather had it much harder than me. And he went on to have 6 children, 15 grandchildren, 4 great-grandchildren, and own multiple properties. So who am I to say that life is not worth bringing children in or the world is terrible? It's not fucking terrible. Okay, it's been worse.
And thankfully, someone came before you, your father, your grandfather, your great-grandfather, your ancestors, who didn't have that fucking attitude.
Exactly. Or wouldn't be here.
You wouldn't be here. You wouldn't even be alive. You wouldn't even exist, man. Yeah, I think as a short-term reaction to the current environment, it's not that bad. I get it. But long-term, it's like stupid and delusional and self-destructive.
No, things are getting terrible. Things are getting really bad. That's not what I'm saying. Yeah. All I'm saying is that giving up has never been the solution and never will be the solution.
Yes.
And I think that is the opposite of the best qualities of men. I think one of the most astounding qualities of men is that they're the demographic that's going to have guys who are not going to give up. Regardless, women are far more likely to throw in the towel and give up or look for someone else to fix it or look for someone else to save them. So all men aren't built that way. That's what makes the men that are built that way special and valuable. Okay, the men that aren't going to give up and the men that are willing to die for it, that's what keeps us here. Yeah. Right? That's what changes things. That's what makes things happen. And you know that expression that hard times make strong men, and strong men make good times, and good times make weak men, and weak men make bad times. There's a lot of truth to that, right? So I think that the manosphere in general is getting a really bad rep because not all, but most, or the most popular voices are blaming everything on everyone else. And that's why I will tune women out. When women start complaining, I begin to tune them out because everything is predicated on being someone else's fault. Someone else did this to me. I'm a victim and I'm helpless, and it's not even worth trying. So when men start,
it's victim culture, 100%.
Right. When men start talking like that, then it's like,
yeah,
they've tricked you into being weak. The same way they tricked women into trying to be strong in the sense of imitating male strength, is the same way that they've duped men into trying to become victims the way women would. It's very interesting how they flipped it like that.
Yes.
So now women think that their strength is in imitating a man's strength, and then men think that someone's supposed to feel sorry for them because they're imitating a woman's victimhood. It's like,
yes, bingo. This is a very astute observation. A lot of the manosphere, the worst and some of the most popular elements, they promote this. They promote imitating the worst elements of womanhood and femininity. Like there's a lot of good about women, and there's some bad too. There's like a good side and a dark side. It's like men, right? Men can be really positive. You build civilization. You can win wars and defeat tyrants, and you can also be violent, you know, rape and murder and kill and shit. Like there's sides. And yeah, this shit is it's super unhealthy victim culture, victim mindset shit. And it's permeated a lot of the manosphere. It used to not be there. Like 10 years ago, this didn't exist.
Well, there was more male accountability in there, and men were encouraged to have some type of agency. But another thing I noticed is that even the vocabulary is becoming bastardized, and the vocabulary is becoming just as inaccurate as the female vernacular. Now, let me explain what I'm saying. Like women will leave a guy, like for example, women will leave a guy through genuinely what is hypergamy. They will literally leave a dude making 60K a year for a dude making 85K a year, right? And then their explanation will be, well, I deserved more. And then the guy she left would be confused because he'd be like, what are you talking about? I did everything that I could have did. I did everything for her. I did everything in my ability and my power. I gave her everything that I could. I did everything that I thought she wanted me to do. I treated her well. I never lied. I didn't cheat on her. So how could she have deserved more than what I did? Because I did the best I can. Okay, hold on. The confusion you're having there is the definition of the word deserve. Your definition is you worked for it. You sacrificed for it. You were disciplined. You did the right thing, so you expected the right thing. Reciprocity. That's what you're thinking of when you say deserve. What she means when she says deserve is, I am this, you give me that, but some other guy was willing to give me more. Therefore, I deserve that more because a guy was willing to give it to me as I am. So me not having to change anything or do anything, someone was willing to offer me more than you. So therefore I must deserve it. Because I was offered it just being what I already am for you. So if you're giving me 7 being me, and someone is offering me 10 being me, then I guess I deserve 10, not 7. That's the confusion. Now, so what's happening now is that the language that we use in the manosphere is also starting to not have a distinct definition. So you'll see a lot of things falling under the wrong umbrella. So females will do certain things and they'd be like, oh, that's female nature. See, that's classic female nature. It's like, hold on, bitch. That's human nature, okay? Just being exhibited by a female. What she did wasn't indicative of females. What she did was indicative to people, but because a woman did it, all of a sudden it's female nature. When it's something that guys do the exact same thing. So if you're not being chosen because you're a fucking loser, that's not female nature, her not choosing you. That's human nature, her not choosing you.
Sorry, I gotta clap at the fucking loser part. I'm talking to my girlfriend to get me some water, but yeah, a lot of guys in the manosphere are just fucking losers and they don't want to hear it. And if they would just hear it and like take it, like I don't think you mean that in a mean way for most of these guys. I don't either, but a lot of them are fucking losers. And like you need to hear that so that you stop being a fucking loser, man. Someone's got to tell you, and you don't have a big brother or a father, or I don't know if a father would tell you that, but you don't got somebody to tell you like, hey man, like quit being a fucking loser. Like wake the fuck up, man the fuck up.
You have to apply yourself to not be a loser. So what happens is we act like if you're not Chad, if you're not Tyrone, you're a loser. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying if you don't have muscles, you're a loser. Okay? I'm good at bodybuilding. I'm a winner in bodybuilding. That doesn't mean if someone isn't winning in bodybuilding, they're a loser. If they're not winning in anything, they're a loser. Pick something to win in. Something that my grandfather said to me that gave me a lot of clarity, but then also ended up confusing the shit out of me, was be good at whatever you do. That gave me so much clarity because then I knew what the focus was to be good at everything that I attempted to do. But where it confused me is because now I was like, well, but what do I do if I'm good at more than one thing? That's what fucked me up. So now I ended up just trying all these different things, and then I would get so determined to be better at those things. If I failed, I didn't give up. I said, no, fuck that. I got to be better at this. So I found myself doing things I didn't even like to do, but just because I refused to give up. You understand what I'm trying to say? I refuse to give up at it.
Your attitude.
Right, because I'm like, I have to be good at this before I can quit. I have to be good at it first, all right? And let me explain why that makes sense to me. Because if I'm not enjoying doing something and I'm not good at it, I'm not sure if it's because I don't enjoy doing this or is it because I'm not doing well. So I have to first at least get better at it and then see, am I enjoying it now? Am I enjoying it now? What about now? What about now? Okay, I'm a little bit better. Am I enjoying it? And if I'm starting to do well at something and I still don't enjoy doing it, then I've eliminated it. Now I'm like, yo, I don't like doing this shit. Even when I win, I don't like doing this shit. So I just think that it could be a helpful way to look at it for some guys, because guys don't realize that it doesn't matter what you're good at. It just matters that you're good at something. Like, for example, on YouTube, you might have a channel where you talk about gender dynamics, and that channel could be doing well. It could be doing trash. Okay, so if you're talking about that and you're not doing well, you fucking suck. You're a fucking loser. Because someone else is talking about that same shit and their channel is off the chain. They're getting tons of views, they got tons of followers, tons of subs, and making great fucking money. Okay, well, there are also channels that just talk about comic book shit. There's channels that just talk about nerdy shit. There's channels that just talk about tech shit, and they're successful. They got 1 million subs. So do you think that guy that has 1 million subs talking about nerd shit, do you think he has a low quality of life? Do you think he has few friends? Do you think he struggles to date? I doubt it. I doubt it. He's probably living a very cushy life. He's probably successful. He's probably enjoying himself, driving what he wants to drive, living where he wants to live. He probably has tons of friends that are in the same genre, that are into the same things he's into. And guess what? There's a ton of groupies over there too. There's a bunch of groupies that like that nerdy shit. So he found something that he was good at and he excelled in it. He's a winner in something that I've never heard of. So to me, I could see him and be like, this fucking nerd, this fucking loser. He's not a loser. He's just a winner in something that I've never heard of. So what I'm saying is guys have to find a lane, pick a lane, and figure out how to excel in that lane. Because when I hear guys are like on the internet, on YouTube talking about me, it's like, oh, Allende's gay because he danced at a gay club. I'm exposed. Allende exposed. Okay, number one, you're not exposing me because I already talked about this shit on my channel with no problem. I'm not hiding anything from anybody. I'm transparent. But then when I finally make the time to go look and see who's talking about me, it's like, but bro, you're not talking about anything else relevant. Your channel is like nobody's heard of it. You have no goddamn views going on. The most views you have is talking about me and I'm not that popular. What this tells me is that you're a loser because you're not winning at anything. So much so that you have time to talk about someone that you've never met, that you've never investigated, that doesn't affect you in any way, and you're not making any valid points. You're not saying anything meaningful. There's nothing to take from this, even if it was true. Okay, Allende's gay. Okay, now how does that help anybody that follows you, that subs to you? How are you adding value to the people that sub to your content by exposing me for being gay? How is this helping men? You're saying that I'm not authentic? Okay, now show me how you are authentic. You're saying that I'm not an alpha. Okay, but how are you proving that you are alpha? Okay, you're saying that people shouldn't take or trust my advice because I danced at a gay club. Okay, great, fine. What advice are you giving that's better? What advice are you giving? Where's your advice? How are you challenging any of my advice? Are you challenging any of my talking points? No. Are you debunking anything I said? No. So what the fuck is the point of your channel? So you see what I mean? So who has time to make this content? And then worse, who has time to listen to this content?
I mean, let's put this in basic points. You have a chick walking around you like right now that was just making coffee, and you're fucking this woman.
I've been living with. See, that's funny because someone said that, oh, in the video, he made sure to have a woman kiss him goodbye. That wasn't staged or orchestrated. The same way my girl just came out of the room now and didn't know that I was recording is the same way that day she didn't know I was recording. So she just came over and kissed me, asked me for the car keys.
On the record, your penis goes inside this woman's vagina, just to make it very clear.
Not as often as it should, because, you know, when you've been together forever, you stop having sex frequently. That's just part of being in relationships, guys. When you get older and you've been together for years, you just stop having sex every freaking night, right? But I don't know, yes,
man. My dick goes in my chick every day. So
well,
my last relationship was like that too.
God bless you. My marriage was like that, but this relationship not like that. So you're lucky. God bless you. But you know, but it could happen. It could happen. I have access, right? It's not a sexless marriage or anything, right?
Yeah.
But it was funny because someone accused me of having her as a beard, right? For anyone who knows what a beard is. And I thought that was so funny because I was like, okay, so a woman that I've been in a relationship with for over 3 years, that I've lived with for over 2 years, is a beard. She's a plant. right? And before that, I lived with 2 women. Okay, and then a couple years before that, I was married for 3 years, and then I'm just like, so I'm pretending, right? But yet I'm a person that never puts my personal woman on camera. I never put my personal women on camera. So who am I trying to trick or convince or prove anything to?
I'm really rare with that too. Like I don't.
Yeah.
These guys who put their chicks on camera all the time, they're just random women they put on. It's like, bro, you're gonna get me too with this shit. I fucked, nothing crazy, like not 1,000 women, but I fucked over 100 women. And the only 2, the public has ever seen me with are my 2 girlfriends. One of them was my wife. That's it. If I'm not in a relationship with a chick, 0% chance she's gonna be on a video or picture with me. 0. You'll never find.
You can't get yourself in trouble. You can incriminate yourself.
Exactly. You can't. These people that do are stupid, bro. You're gonna get me too. Some girl's gonna come after you for money or some shit. Like who knows, man? I don't do that shit. And also, there's never a picture of me, and probably neither with you neither. There's not a single picture of me on the internet with a fat girl, not one, because I don't fuck fat women, because fat women are fucking gross. Now, if you like fat women and you want to admit it, that's fine, but I'm not into that shit.
You might find some with me because that's the thing. No. I never dated any fat women or anything like that. But like I said, I used to be a dancer, so someone always wants to take a picture. But that's another angle that these guys try. They're like, oh, Allende's gay because look at all these gay guys that have Allende on their social media. Okay, so a bunch of guys that I don't know, okay, that asked to take a picture with me at events, and I took pictures with them. This proves what? Now on my social medias, there's nothing gay there. You know why? Because I'm not gay. I don't follow anything gay. I don't watch anything gay. I don't view anything gay. So you're showing me pictures of guys that have posted pictures with me that I've never seen. I've never been to these guys' pages before. I don't follow them. I've never seen their page or what they posted of me. And then if I go to the convention, people are like, oh, Allende, it's you. Let me take a picture with you. Okay, cool. I just got back from Mexico. Every 5 seconds, somebody's like, una foto, can I take a picture with you? Because I've won a lot of bodybuilding competitions out there. So if I go to a convention, I go to a fitness expo or something, there's people that are going to want to take pictures with me. So I'm just like, what is that supposed to prove that I'm not just walking around acting homophobic and discriminating against people? You're not proving anything other than that I'm someone that has some type of celebrity status to people. All you're proving is that people want to take a picture with me. That's it. That's all you prove with that. And then I'm not the type of person to be like, nah, fuck you, I'm not taking a picture, because there's no reason for me to be a dick. Even if I don't want to take the picture or I'm not in the mood, whether it's a fat land whale of a chick, I'm going to take the picture with her. If it's some skinny teenage kid, I'm going to take the picture with him. If it's some gay guy, I'm going to take the picture with him. Whatever, bro. I'm just being polite, right? So, I just feel like there's a lot of people in the manosphere that are watching this content
starting to just meme up
with no intention of improving themselves or bettering their situation in any way. So the way I see it is, there's only really two main reasons you should be watching content. That's either entertainment or self-improvement. That's it. Either you're trying to learn something, or you're trying to just be entertained. All right. I lean more towards learning something. I'm always watching history shit because I want to learn shit. I'm always watching fitness and bodybuilding shit because I want to learn shit, and self-improvement shit. If I want to build something, I'll kind of try to look at YouTube. If something's broken and I'm like, I think I can fix this myself, I'll go see if there's maybe a tutorial on it on YouTube, because I want to learn shit. I want to get in as much knowledge as possible. The entertainment thing to me is less of a priority. And I think the people that are prioritizing that too much, it's because they're not putting enough time into working on themselves. If you're working so hard on yourself and you're constantly working, and then when you have some free time, you're like, yo, I just want to be entertained, that's awesome. God bless you. But if you're just constantly looking for an escape from reality, and you're looking for someone to tell you it's not your fault, and you're looking for someone to tell you that it's women, it's this, and bro, I don't feed into any of that shit. I've been this color my whole life. I've never fed into racism and white supremacy and all this shit. I can't stand the concept of Black Lives Matters. It's the most ridiculous shit.
I've seen you go after BLM stuff on one of your old videos.
Bro, it is the most self-defeating bullshit I've ever fucking seen. It's like Jordan Peterson says, you got to clean your own fucking room first before you go out here and complain about anything else. And I just feel like if you're talking about any particular community, there's plenty of things for that community to work on within itself first. At least as far as America is concerned. I'm not saying there isn't people being victimized and oppressed other places in the world. Well, listen, I grew up in America, okay? And you're gonna have a hard time convincing me that in America, oppression is any American's first priority. There's nobody living in America that being oppressed is their biggest issue. I refuse to agree with that. If you're poor in America, you could become rich, okay? If you're of any ethnic background in America, there are no like actual laws or anything like that that are really holding you back. There are some things that are unfair, obviously. Okay, there's a lot of things that are put in place to try to slow you down, but there's nothing that can absolutely stop you in America. I do not believe that. I believe in America. Go ahead.
There are serious problems too around the world. There's still like 10, 20 million people enslaved in Africa or something like that.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Child slavery and sex slavery. It's like really serious shit that goes on. People just ignore this shit.
That's my point. And to talk about first world problems. So I don't want to hear women complain in America. I don't want to hear blacks complain in America. I feel like all of our issues that we have in America, we have them as Americans. I don't think it's like this group has a problem, that group has a problem. I think we have a problem. We have a problem with the way our country is being ran. We have a problem with the way that our economy is going, because as individuals, we have such a lack of understanding how these things work. I think we lack leadership in our communities. Things like that, I think, are American problems, right? Not Black American problems, not Black women problems, not American women problems. We have these problems as a group, right? To even be divided and fighting over this abortion shit, it's just a great example of how confused and lost we are as a nation. Like, this is what we're arguing over.
Okay.
And missing the bigger picture. The bigger picture, there's so many major elements of that are far more disturbing than what we're actually arguing about, which is the right to get an abortion, which isn't even a right to begin with. But the fact that they were able to convince us that was a constitutional right at one point in time, and then now they've overturned that, and we're not even realizing that they just showed you that they can overturn a constitutional right, you fucking idiot. And it was never a constitutional right to begin with. So they tricked you into thinking that that was a constitutional right, and then they just tricked you into accepting them taking away a constitutional right, which is something that they should never be able to take away. Yeah. So if it was a constitutional right, they should have never been able to overturn it. And based on what a constitutional right is, we should have never been gullible enough to believe that that's a constitutional right. It's not. Right?
It's a scam. Yeah.
Right. It's a scam. And then it's a silly argument to even begin with. And then they're using it to divide and conquer us and to pitch men and women against each other. And now it's like, oh, well, maybe the women should go on a sex strike. Like, what are we even talking about anymore? If women went on a sex strike, then there wouldn't be any unwanted pregnancies. Like, this shit doesn't even make any sense. But we're arguing over it.
Yeah. I like to say that you hear a lot about, for better and for worse, race relations in America on the news and shit. What you never hear about, what they should talk about, is gender relations, which are collapsing. And you see that like with what you're talking about, the fighting men and women, but also just in dating and relationships, the whole shit show of the modern sexual marketplace. It's fucking collapsing. If it was a stock market, it'd be in a free fall collapse at this point. Everything's fucking crazy at this point. Gender roles, masculinity. Yeah.
It's a trick. And I made a video showing you, pointing out all the parallels and the similarities to the divide and conquer tactics amongst the different groups, how they use the exact same blueprint. So there's a time in history where they were convincing white people in America that they were better than and superior to black people, that black people were these terrible people, and there was all this propaganda that went into convincing you that all black people were criminals, they were feeble-minded, they were lower intelligence, all these type of things. They sabotaged the public school system. They did all of this shit to demonize black people and convince white people to have a certain type of prejudice against them. Then you fast forward to the modern day, and now they flipped it. So it used to be okay to use derogatory terms to describe black people openly. It used to be fine, legal, encouraged. Now they flipped it. So now you can say anything negative you want about cisgendered white males. Now it's okay to attack and discriminate against straight white men.
They also, but they also sneak back some of the black stuff. Now it used to be with it, colored people, right? Black people. And now they say people of color. It's
Right.
like you
And
just said the
it's
same
just as
fucking thing.
offensive.
Yeah, it's the same fucking thing 50 years ago. You just
Right.
switch the words around.
It's just switching around. It's just as
Yeah.
offensive anyway, but it's
Yeah.
the perspective that they've conditioned you to have. So now it's okay to publicly criticize and demonize and talk about this group of people, but not this group of people, right?
Yeah.
But 60 years ago, it was reversed. So now you used to be able to say a bunch of offensive things about women in the past. You used to be able to say a lot of little slick shit. If you listen to where they talked in the 20s, 30s, 40s, and the 50s, they said a lot of slick shit about women right in the open.
Sean Connery in the 80s, you've probably seen this. Barbara, Bond. He said to Barbara Walters, sometimes you need to slap a woman. And she tried to get him to back down. He's like, no, I'm not backing down. Sometimes you got to slap a woman. You would never see that now. But this is whether or not this is true, whatever. It's just funny.
But a woman could say it today. Is my point.
That's right.
So you see how they flipped it. So the men used to be able to say these things about women. They used to be able to take these jabs and say things that could be insensitive, could be offensive, openly on TV, interviews, in movies, whatever. And then now you flip it. And now women can do all those things in public, on TV, on the news, on media.
So what you're saying is, like, on The View, I think you're right. One of these chicks could say, sometimes you need to slap your husband, Sometimes you just got to slap. You're right. They could say that shit.
That's what I'm saying.
They would get away with it. Yeah. And 30 years ago, you couldn't do that.
So that's what I'm saying. So they flip it. So they use media as of recently to convince women that men are terrible and that you don't want to be in relationships with women, that it's better. You don't want to be in relationships with men. It's better not to depend on men. It's better not to live with men. It's better not to marry men, not to have children, not to be in relationships with men. Focus on your education, focus on your career, So basically they've been telling women to go their own way.
Yeah, it sounds like MGTOW shit.
Now you look at the direction we're going now, and where's the direction we're going now? Now it's the men that are responding by saying, you know what? I don't want to deal with women anymore. I don't want to be in a relationship with women anymore. So all I'm saying is they use the same tactics and they create this tone, and then after it gets accepted and it's mainstream, then they flip it now and they put it on the other side, and then that's how you create that divide. Because now that divide will never be mended. Look at how we've never mended the racial issues in America. We've never mended them. But look how long ago they started creating that divide. Now it's solidified and there's too much history, just like the Bloods and Crips. So present day Bloods and Crips might have not actually physically done anything to each other, but they still have this feud going on because of the past generations. So that's what we have now with blacks and whites, and what we have now with men and women. And like idiots, we're falling for this same fucking strategy. So now we have men and women swearing each other off, when in all actuality, their lives would be better if they just learned how to get along, much like our nation would be better if we cut all this race shit out and just considered ourselves Americans. If we were just Americans, we would get over all the other shit real fast. We would get over it. Okay? But we keep on creating these differences. We got to have something on MTV, and then we have to have a black version of it on BET. Why? Why can't we just have an American version?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
This is true, man. Hey, I want to take a super chat. We got one super chat. Thanks for super chat, $1.99 from Don Juan Plagueis 0. Thanks. What do you guys think of women talking about RP, red pill? We talked about this a little bit earlier. I don't think he's talking about chameleons necessarily. It sounds like in general. But I did find my girlfriend was going after this hoe, the real femme sapien, Ali Drummond. She blocked her and she blocked me as well. I never even tweeted at her. I don't think Alyssa did either. But it's not about this specific girl necessarily, because there's just a lot of women now talking about red pill stuff. It's this whole fucking thing, from different angles too, right? Content creators like the one we just showed. Pearly is another content creator. Her channel is getting big. It's got 150,000 more subs right now, whatever. There's a bunch of little ones popping up, these red pill chick channels and shit. But also you get like hoes on these green-haired hoes on these podcasts and shit. And that's presented as like normal. And then they talk about, sexual dynamics and all this shit. Anyway, what do you think about women talking about red pill? Should this be done at all? I mean, a little bit. Is it too much?
Well, I don't think that... the red pill is something that we can just kind of take and isolate to men, even though, yes, obviously men created the concept, they created the term or whatever, but that's just what men do in general. We created everything, but we can't just keep it to ourselves. So are women allowed to have an opinion on NASCAR? Yeah, they can have an opinion. How much you value it as an individual, that's up to you. But to say that women shouldn't speak on NASCAR, I think that's crazy. So yes, I think women should be able to speak about and have views and opinions on red pill concepts. The idea of something having a completely different reality other than what's presented. That's what red pill content is about. It's about they're showing you this, but it's really like this over here behind their back. So can women have an outlook and an opinion on that? Absolutely, because they're also being lied to. They also believe certain things about our reality that aren't true. Are they going to have a similar perspective as men? Absolutely not. They're going to have a completely different understanding and perspective, and I think that's why it's valuable, because they exist. They're here too. They share the experience with us. So should they lead? No, I don't think women should really lead much of anything. Should they participate? Absolutely. Absolutely. I think they should be participating. I think the problem is that we keep trying to exclude them from these things when really what we should be doing is holding their hands and being the arbiters of these environments. And that's what my goal was, bringing women into the Manosphere and bringing them onto podcasts. It wasn't to degrade them and expose them and all this other shit. It was to let them have an opportunity to speak their side of it, and then we could discuss it, and then we as men could tell them why that's not what it is, and this is why it's not working, and this is why you guys are looking at it from the wrong perspective. This is why you're misinterpreting men's behavior and men's comments and desires. You're not understanding where we're coming from. Let's talk about it. And us saying fuck you, you're not allowed, I don't think it's going to work. Saying no girls allowed, I don't think that's going to work for us.
Yeah, I think an opinion, an observational opinion, and even having an opinion, that's not a big problem. But I think what he might also be getting at is stuff like this, which is a lot more explicit. And this precedes the red pill. She's familiar with red pill stuff in the Manosphere. This chick, your wingman, 200. She got a big channel, 228,000 subs. She looks like she's in her 40s, late 40s. I don't know. But anyway, she's one of the female dating coaches, and there's a bunch of them on YouTube. Kezia Noble's another one.
Right.
And dudes listen to these chicks for dating advice, and it's like, bro, Kezia Noble is an ex-stripper. Like, I know this for a fact because I know her ex-boyfriend and the whole fucking dramatic shit show behind all that. Man, she's like probably 15 years deep in the Manosphere or something. But dudes listen to this chick who just has her tits out, and it's like, bro, this is for what they consider red pill dating advice, and it's like so fucking dumb. Like, do not take dating advice from strippers, guys.
Well, here's the thing, though, because for me, I think information is always going to be valuable and telling, regardless. It's just how good are you at interpreting it? How good are you at differentiating it? Using discernment. And I think it's just weird how you have a lot of guys today that are, well, it's not weird. I mean, I understand.
Bro, this one has almost 1 million subs.
No.
My God. What a fucking disaster.
No. Trust me, I've watched a lot of her videos for different reasons. But what I'm saying is I understand how guys get to this way of thinking, because you have such a large population of men that have been raised primarily by women. They've been raised by single mothers, and then their single mothers only keep them around their female friends, their sisters. So now you have them around their aunts, they're around their mom, and they're around their mother's friends. So from a young age, the female perspective is the only perspective that they're getting. Female conversations are all the conversations they're overhearing. And then when male issues are being discussed, or men are being discussed, they're being discussed by women. So women are complaining about the men. Women are saying this and saying the men should be doing this and should be like that. So as a young boy, you start getting this understanding that women are the arbiters. Women are the ones that decide what's right and what's wrong, and how you should be, what a real man is, how a man should behave. Then when they leave the home, or they're not around the family, where are they? They're at school. Well, what are their teachers? Female. So once again, you have a female being the arbiter of what's appropriate behavior. You have a female telling you every time you act like a boy, you're misbehaving. Every time you get bored with woman shit, you have attention deficit disorder. Every time you act like a guy, something's wrong. Okay, so now when you leave that, you go to the workplace. What happens at the workplace? They have some underqualified woman managing you. So now there's a woman at work telling you how you should be and what you should be doing, and has the authority to fire you or promote you. Then you start saying, hey, I really want a girlfriend. I really want to spend time with a girl. I really want to go out with this girl. I want to meet that girl. So what happens now? You start having to acquiesce to what she approves of, what she likes and what she wants to try to get close to her. So what just happened? You spent your entire fucking life based on what women think, want, approve of, and believe. So now when you're trying to figure out what you're doing wrong, who do you look to? A woman. A woman is going to tell me what I'm doing wrong. A woman is going to tell me how to get a woman. A woman is going to tell me how to get laid.
It's mommy issues. I think a lot of the Manosphere content creators are really just mommy issues writ large. A lot of them, not all of them, but like probably 70% of them.
And those women are monopolizing on that phenomena of men acting like women are who decide what's what in our society. And so really it just comes from a lack of fathers and father figures and older brothers, because it's not just fathers, it's just males in general. You need fathers, you need uncles, you need older brothers, you need older male friends, you need older classmates, you need bigger older guys on your sports teams, you need coaches, right? You need all of these strong males to help you become a well-rounded strong male. And a lot of these guys, since it was never in their childhood, they never gravitated towards it. And nowadays, if a coach seeks a child, you're like a potential pedophile or something. Like for a guy to try to reach out to a young guy and be like, hey, let me try to mentor you, let me try to guide you. People think that's weird, that's creepy. Why are you taking an interest in young guys? So
we vilified everything about masculinity. This is the end result, is that a football coach, I had really good football coaches growing up, man. They were masculine fucking dudes. You should have seen how pissed off they were when they were forced by the principal to take a girl on the football team as like a kicker. She only lasted like a month, but it
ruins the sanctuary of what we're trying to do here. And every other society prior to this one understood that. They separated their boys and girls for a reason, because that's how the development needs to take place. Okay, we need to have Boy Scouts. Okay, we need to have that separation, because boys and girls learn differently. They think, act, and interact with the world different. And then as boys get to a certain age, females become a distraction. They start to prevent us from becoming ourselves, because we're constantly worried about what they think. So we can't be ourselves around them. We can't fail in front of them. We can't take chances and take risk in front of them, because we're worried about what the girl we like or think is cute thinks. So for that reason, we need to be separated from them so that we can grow and mature properly. And then what happens is, when you exclude women, they're going to have a certain type of response in this modern society. So when you look at little boys, right, and they want to go build clubhouses, and they want to go get into trouble, they want to, take bikes apart and build their own, custom bike. They want to do all those type of cool things as little boys. When the little girls come around and say, hey, we weren't present when you were collecting materials. We weren't present when you were hammering nails and hurting yourself. We weren't present when you were climbing trees and picking a location to build your clubhouse. But now that you've built it, okay, now that it's sturdy, now that you ran an extension wire up there, you have a fan and it's comfortable, we want to come play in your clubhouse. And that's when the guys are like, listen, we're in the process of making a no girl sign right now. So give us a couple of minutes and we're going to go ahead and put up a sign that says no girls, ew. And then what are the girls going to do? They're going to go run and tell an adult, mommy, they won't let us play. Now, here's where we need that father, because that father is supposed to step in and say, honey, they have their own little thing. They have their own little space. Let boys be boys. Don't you want to have a tea party? Don't you want to play with your Barbie? No, I want to go in there and play in the clubhouse. Listen, honey, you have to respect their space. If they want to play with you, they'll come down and play with you. If they want you to come up, they'll invite you. But it's not up to me. That's their personal space. They built that clubhouse. Nobody's having that fucking conversation with girls. So they're going to grow up and become grown women. And then when you try to exclude them from a job, a company that they're not qualified to work in, they're going to go say that it's discrimination. It's not discrimination. It's that, where were you when we were building this fucking company? Where were you when we were building this environment, when we were taking risk? You were nowhere to be found. You were
Well,
somewhere safe.
where were all these red pill chicks when the Manosphere was getting built in the 1990s and the 2000s?
That's my point. Where were all these chicks when they were building Twitch? When Twitch was a struggling platform and content creators on Twitch couldn't make $1, they couldn't even afford to buy more video games. They couldn't afford to pay their internet service. Where were the Pokemanes then?
Yeah.
Right? But now these girls are becoming millionaires on Twitch and they suck at video games. How is that even possible?
Because they're blood-sucking leeches off of simps, man. They just prey on beta males.
Right, but the beta males allow it though.
That's true. That's true.
The beta males allow it.
It's definitely a mutually toxic relationship, and everybody is miserable and nobody is happy. I saw a chick the other day. My friend Pat Stedman, a really good dating coach, guys who legit as fuck. You'll meet him at 21 this year. He was tweeting about what was her name, Niece Woodhofer, some shit like that. She was an Instagram star. She had like 4 million fucking Instagram followers, OnlyFans, like very, very standard kind of thing. She killed herself. And after she posted on like a subreddit where it's like roast me subreddit. It's this big subreddit where you post a picture of yourself, you make sure you verify it, and then you just like, yeah, roast me, right? And some dude just fucking laid into her and she ended up killing herself from it, as far as I could tell. Suicide. And it's like, we look at the simps and the incels or whatever and shit and say that they're miserable and unhappy and this is all fucking this is retarded, but it's also the same thing. So are the women. They're all fucking unhealthy retards. Like, that's kind of oversimplifying it, but the
guys don't know this. The guys don't know this because, just like I was saying earlier, when you was talking about, you know, going to a convention and going somewhere for work and meeting a beautiful woman and hooking up with her just like spontaneous, it wasn't even planned or intended. Guys can't relate to that because it never happens to them. Well, this is why guys don't know what the lives of these Instagram models are really like, because they don't know them in real life. And I'm always trying to tell guys, it's not what you think. You know what I'm saying? I used to be a bouncer at a strip club. I've managed many of dancers. I've managed girls that have OnlyFans, that used to do webcam before OnlyFans was a thing. So I know what these girls are like. These girls that have all these followers and make all this money monetizing their sexuality. I've dated plenty of female bartenders. So I understand their mentality, their psyche, how they are behind closed doors. And I don't know these women the way that their fans do. Like, a lot of these girls, I don't know them through social media. I know them through real fucking life. Yeah. So, you know, so guys will be like, yo, this girl follows you? It's like, she doesn't follow me because I followed her on Instagram and she likes my pictures too. She follows me because I met her in real life. I met her in Earth 1. That's where I met her at. And then after meeting her in real life, then we added each other to social media. So you see what I mean? So I know these girls without the filters. I know these girls without the captions and all the bullshit that they claim. And I know that these girls are single. These girls are lonely. These girls have issues from their childhood. These girls were molested. These women have all type of demons. And that's usually the makeup of girls that choose these industries. They usually have these things in common. Yeah. So they
didn't have some loving father, and then she ends up a huge OnlyFans slut with 4 million followers. Like, you'd be kidding me.
That's what I'm trying to say. And I've met a lot of girls that are like, "Oh, I always wanted an OnlyFans." It's like, why you didn't get one? My dad. It's always my dad something. I'm like, that's interesting. That girls will say they wanted an OnlyFans, but they never got one, and it's always something to do with having a dad, a father. You know what I mean?
A man who loved them and set an example for them. I mean, this is basic shit, but you need it as a chick. And if you don't, you know, fixing that is extremely hard and almost never happens.
Well, see, that's where that craving attention comes from. Yeah. And I see it in some guys. I see it in some even content creators. Some of these guys, they will sit here and lie on the mic, and they'll do whatever because they just need that male validation. They need that male attention. And I'm thinking to myself, man, there are guys that their psychologists have said, listen, the reason why this person became a homosexual was because he was craving male attention, and the only male attention he could get was sexual. And then I'm like, well, how is that any better than these content creators that's willing to pretend to be somebody they're not because they're craving male attention? It's like, dads are so valuable, and when they're not in the equation, it's like any number of things could go wrong when you remove the father. Right. And I'm not saying that all fathers are perfect, because obviously you have fathers that are abusive. You have fathers that are alcoholics. You have fathers that cause the problems. But genuinely speaking, if there isn't a good father in the home, any number of issues can stem from that, and these issues are lifelong issues. So
Yeah.
the women that are willing to get naked in front of strangers, they almost always have issues with their father.
For the price of a cheeseburger, you can go on OnlyFans and buy a girl's picture of vagina for like literally $4 or $5.
And that short-term thinking, that short-term thinking also comes from a lack of a father, because the father's the one that's supposed to explain to you that it's not just how it affects you right now, it's how it's going to affect you in the future, moving forward, years from now, and so on and so forth.
Well, that's true for the men too, though. Like you're pointing out here with that, I didn't think about that as much as you put out here. But these male content creators who lie, they create these fake lives and all this bullshit. These guys who are terrible with women and then go on the internet and give hardline dating advice when they haven't hooked up with a girl in 2-3 years. Like it's insane beyond insane, right? But they're seeking that male validation, and a lot of it, I think you're right, is from like father hunger. They're hungry for that male validation.
That male approval. Somebody telling them that you're cool, or you're good at something, or you're good enough.
But like the chicks, they're not thinking long term, and they don't get it. When you lie on the internet never forgets, and you lie and lie and lie for months and years, and you build up this huge fake persona, right? And there's so many different variations of this. Guys having midlife crises in their 50s, like the fraud father, younger guys in their 30s and 40s, whatever. That shit catches up to you, man. You built a life of lies, a house of cards. Jesse Lee Peterson, fucking case number 1. That dude's in his 70s. That dude is a senior citizen.
That was a shocker to me. Like I never, because the way he talks about those issues, you would have never thought, not him. You know what I mean? But
definitely him. Flame together, burn together. Pride Boys for life. I honestly, I had no problem with this guy a couple weeks ago, man. I mean, this blew my mind too. I've been so aggressive with the memes going after him. People, they overlooked that this was someone who I was a speaker at my convention, was very popular, had helped promote my convention. I didn't want to do any harm to this guy or his reputation anyway, until I found out he was been lying to my face for all these years, and all of my customers and all of my fans and everyone else on the fucking internet. That shit pissed me off pretty bad. And it kept me blindsided. I didn't see it. Thursday night, I didn't know shit. Friday night, I go to bed and look at this documentary. I'm like, oh, fuck, this is not good.
Yeah,
yeah, man. It hit the news. It hit the news, too. It hit the news on Thursday, man. Just Thursday this week.
But you know what? That's the thing, because, and I experienced that real early in YouTube. It's just like, listen, when people have the numbers, when they have the majority, they're protected, bro, because you got to think about it. For him to be doing what he was doing, that means there's so many people that knew, and he was protected, and there were so many people that were quieted. They were silenced, right? So, I mean, the Bible's going to tell you that righteous path is always going to be much narrower and have much fewer travelers than that broader path. So, when people act like you're not right because the person that you're, contesting has more followers than you, and if you were the authentic one, then you would be the one with all the subs. And I'm like, not according to the Bible, because the person that's trying to be honest and trying to be genuine is always going to get less support.
Yeah.
Than the motherfuckers that are devious.
You're 100% right. That's not how real life works for these. It's with content creators anyway. Any kind of public figure, like, people don't want to hear the truth. They think they do sometimes. The red pill Manosphere guys are an example of that. They don't really want it, because when you tell them, hey, bro, it's your fault, you're a fucking loser, you can't get your dick in women because you're a fucking loser, and you're a fucking loser because it's your fucking choice, and you don't want to hear that because you don't want to change it. You don't want to stop being a lazy ass. That's the kind of truth that they don't want to hear. But when they want the sweet lies, it's not their fault.
Well, exactly. It's not that they don't. It's what it is that they want a truth. They want a truth that supports their sentiment.
pre-existing beliefs.
Exactly. So it's like it's like if okay, I'll give you an example. Average guy failing with women, therefore women aren't worth it. So any content that's going to tell me that women aren't worth it, just focus on yourself, just focus on making money, and then when you make your money, then you can treat women like shit. It's like, okay, so now what's happening is that message is appealing to your animosity, because you want to believe that you're failing with women because women aren't worth it, not that you're failing with women because you're doing something wrong. Then it's that message is telling you that should you ever be in a position that you can get girls, that you should be punishing them for not choosing you when you were a loser. Okay,
Yep.
that's your resentment. So you're looking for a message that feeds that, right? But all of that, right, is low frequency, because something that's telling you that it's not your fault, that you shouldn't make any adjustments and you shouldn't improve anything about you, that's a low vibration. And then something telling you that you should be feeding into resentment, that's also a low vibration. Or something telling you should feed into jealousy, or any of these negative emotions, anything that's encouraging you to feed into that is a lower vibration. So someone was showing me a book where someone was trying to say that like jealousy and envy and all of these things were just expected human traits, and that other people's jealousy and envy isn't your problem. And I was like, that's absolutely false, because first of all, it's a choice on how you want to respond to those type of stimulations. Meaning, if you see a guy and he's doing better than you or has more than you, it's your choice if you want to respond with jealousy or envy, or if you want to respond with admiration and appreciation, and then say, how can I befriend this guy? How can I get to know this guy? How can I maybe get some advice from this guy, some guidance from this guy? How can I learn from this guy? How can I learn to be better and get better results like him? That's a choice. If you would rather just say, fuck him, fuck this Chad, fuck this Tyrone, oh, fuck this guy, it's just because he's tall. Fuck this guy, it's just because his parents had money. Fuck this guy, it's just because this. It's like, you chose that. You chose that easier, lower, trigger response.
And that kind of dumb shit response is exactly what passes as red pill today. That's a cold, harsh
That's
red pill.
That's what I'm saying. That's red pill today. It's blaming somebody else.
Yeah,
and
it's
then,
pathetic.
And then also saying that all those type of emotions are someone else's problem. No, motherfucker, that's gonna become your problem. So you have guys that are shitty as hell, and if anybody criticizes them, they'll say, "Oh, they're just hating." You know, hate comes from below. It's like, are they hating, or do they have some accurate criticisms here? So there's a lot of people.
It doesn't even make any sense, because like the media goes after people sometimes. They've come after me at my events for women and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They have, millions of followers, millions and millions and millions. And
so are they hating?
Are they beneath me because they have 20 million followers and they're beneath me? This is fucking delusional. Like,
that's what I'm trying to say. But there's a lot of guys that try to hide behind that. You know, when they are doing well and they do have the numbers, they try to act like anybody that's challenging them or criticizing them is automatically hating, is automatically jealous, automatically envious. Well,
and you know what? These dumb fucking betas are gullible enough to believe that shit. You're right. It's a cover.
Right.
They use this, views or subscriber, whatever. It's a cover. It's a front to keep duping these dumb fucking betas who all they need is one explanation for why this is not true, right? Oh, it's not true because I say so. It's not true because whatever. And like, these people fucking believe anything, and you wonder why they
because they want to believe. That's why I kind of gave up with the trying to like expose that these people are lying to their following and trying to take advantage of them. And it's also why I stopped feeling the need to care for or defend that demographic, because I'm like, hold on, these guys don't want to be saved. These guys don't want to be helped. These guys want to believe this bullshit.
Yeah, that's
these
right.
guys want to justify giving these guys your money. And it's like, you know what? That's the same argument when guys are trying to justify giving their money to an OnlyFans model. So you know what? Go ahead and give that bitch your money, and go ahead and give this fucking fake ass fucking dating coach your money. Go ahead, give them both your fucking money, you idiot. Go broke. You know what I'm saying? Believing that this OnlyFans bitch really likes you, and go broke believing that this fucking dating coach knows what he's talking about and he's actually trying to help you. Go broke. You know
You're
what
right.
I mean?
I just make memes because it pisses them off, and I like insulting them, and they deserve to be insulted. If
What's
you want to be,
you're making an art out of it.
Oh, absolutely, I love it. I love it. Well, what it does is, if there are any left in there that are capable of waking up to reality on these issues, it's making them laugh and being ultra savage with the art that I think actually does it over time, because they cannot laugh. It's too funny. It's like, yo, this is funny.
Art does have a
Miss Piggy, bro. Who's not gonna laugh at Miss Piggy? His wife is Miss Piggy. I mean, come on, that's funny as hell.
That shit, that I'm telling you right now, that one right there.
Oh, the pig?
See things like that make me not have any type of like remorse for their fan base, because I feel like if you see what he's doing, right? If you see how much he's riding on these other people's nuts, constantly trying to ride somebody else's coattails,
making fun of
relevant.
fat. He makes fun of fat women. He makes fun of fat women.
Right. You're trying to stay relevant, jumping on these new bandwagons, right? Then you're like constantly trying to like bash black women, not because you're trying to actually make sense of it or trying to analyze or break it down, but you're trying to bash black women and act as if somehow like white women and all other women are better than the black women. It's like, all right, well, you're doing a lot of distasteful things just to kind of try to stay relevant and get some type of views. You're struggling to stay on YouTube, and I get it because you invested a lot into the studio and the equipment and choosing this career. But then also the woman that you're wifing up and dating and justifying and bringing her into the fold and giving her some type of celebrity, and you're doing all this type of things. So what I'm trying to say is the viewers that are sitting back and watching this, the subs that are sub to that, if you're buying into this shit and you're falling for this bullshit, then I don't feel sorry for you. That I don't feel any need to tap you on the shoulder and be like, yo, these guys aren't what they say they are. These guys are lying. Or these guys are taking advantage. I'm like, fuck that. If you're that dumb, go ahead, stay there. You belong there. Knock yourself out.
This is their guru. Like this is your big guru. Okay, have fun with the shark mama.
Right, because I'm not hating on the numbers. Knock yourself out. I'm not hating on the numbers. I've listened to all of these channels from the perspective of a sub. So whatever the hell there was to take and absorb, I've already got it. Like I've already absorbed it, and I'm on about my way. Because, you know, let's say somebody is, you know, they know 80%, you know, they have 80% of knowledge in this particular area, and I have 55%, you know, information in this area. I can listen to that person's content and try to learn as much as I can. But once I start getting to right around where they are or exceed them, there really isn't any incentive anymore for me to pay attention, because you're not saying anything I haven't heard. I'm not learning anything over here anymore. And that particular channel, I stopped learning like early. So I'm not gonna say there was never anything there, but I just noticed that it started to get less and less interesting to me personally. I'm not saying that someone else doesn't, there isn't still something to learn there. So all these channels, they have something there, a little bit of something there, some more than others. How much of it is original? Now that's a whole nother argument, because a lot of what,
look, you mentioned fishing earlier as an analogy. A bait has to be good bait. Even if it's fake, it has to look like a fish. Even now they put scents on little baits and shit, right? It's got to at least look legit, look real, a little bit.
Yeah, and smell and taste, you know, real for the fish. And a lot of fish are smart. A lot of fish are smart enough to spit it out or smart enough to avoid it because they can tell it's synthetic. Yep. But, you know, a lot of these channels, majority of what is there, the little bit that's there, majority of that is recycled shit anyway. So it's just like, if you're 22 and you get on a certain people's platform, you're like, oh shit, wow. Yeah, it's new to you because you're 22. But the shit that they're saying that is true isn't their shit anyway. It's recycled shit anyway. So if you're 34, 35, you've heard that shit already. You heard that shit 5 years ago on a completely different channel. So and then a lot of the channels that are popular now, they don't have any element of philosophy in it. So when I first started listening to this area, I was already late. I was already late to the party. 2016, that's late to the party. But there still was a lot of content creators that were they were philosophizing. Like there was philosophy there still. There was still a lot of discussion being had. Like you're listening to Human, and I'm listening to Sandman, I'm listening to Thinking Ape, and I'm listening to Turd Flinging Monkey, and you know, a bunch of other channels that I can't think of right this minute. A guy I liked was this Australian dude Coltane, because he was all about data. He was all about like the actual data. What
was the channel name?
Coltane. The guy's name is Coltane, and he stopped making content.
There was MGTOW 101. It was actually a good channel. I think that was the channel name. It was Australian. Reminded me of that guy, but
yeah, I was listening to that too, and it's not because I agree with everything these guys said. It was simply that nobody agreed with everything these guys said. It was men having these open discussions and men philosophizing and saying, you know, why is this? And I think this, I believe this. It seems like this. The data is showing that. But what about this? And we never really can understand this. And it was a lot of questions being asked, basically, is what I'm saying, right? So a lot of exchange of ideas going back and forth, right? And it was encouraging you to actually think about these issues rather than just accept everything on face value. And I think that's how a lot of guys get into trouble. They just accept things the way that they're presented, and then later they find out something's not right. This isn't adding up. I thought this was supposed to equal that. Well, I was a nice guy. Well, I did what I was supposed to do. I did everything everyone told me to do. Why am I not getting what I was promised? So it's because you're asking these questions now. You weren't asking these questions earlier. So I felt the Manosphere was a healthy place for men because it inspired thought. It made guys think about
critically. Yeah.
Right. Think critically. Think about all these things. Question everything. Now I feel like guys are questioning nothing. Yeah. They're just accepting what they're being told. Yes, it's because women are bad. Yes, it's because of female nature. Yes, it's because of racism. Yes, it's because of this. Yes, it's no. Hold on. Let's peel back these layers and understand these things, and then as an individual man, start behaving in a way that's going to move you towards the result that you want. You're gonna always have to go against the odds to win as a man. So I'm tired of guys acting like they're entitled to something. You're not entitled to anything. If you look at nature, most male mammals live and die never procreating. Okay? They're not entitled to shit. They're not entitled to territory. They're not entitled to mating rights. They're not entitled to resources. They're not entitled to shelter. You're not entitled to shit. Okay? Born as a male of any fucking mammal species. You're not entitled to shit. You might get eaten by something bigger than you. You might get mauled to death. Okay? You might have all the females taken from you. You might have your cubs slaughtered and your women taken and your territory taken. You can't afford to break a leg, sprain an ankle. None of that. Right? It's competitive, and you have to challenge yourself and go against the odds is what I'm trying to say. If you're trying to be an alpha, you're trying to be at the top, you're trying to be successful, essentially what that means is that you beat out other males. So by definition, the majority can't win. By definition, you cannot be in the majority and have more than what you have. So all this whining and acting like someone owes you something is becoming pathetic in the Manosphere. The Manosphere is becoming pathetic. And what happens is now when someone from the outside looks at it, that's the interpretation that they get of all of us now. They get the interpretation that we're all pathetic. We're all a bunch of whiny babies because it's called the Manosphere. So it represents men. So they're thinking men in general are a bunch of weak crybabies, complaining about what they don't have and what they're not being given in life, as if men are given anything. So those are just some of the things that I don't like about where the Manosphere is currently. Okay, all right. So I had to check that chat, guys. All right, so real quick, I'm looking at my chat as some stuff in here. So yeah, amazing video says, Yende, you need to make a video about your granddad. I think I should do that. I should definitely make a video about that. He's a very inspiring dude. Man, are you thinking life a porn movie? I didn't understand that one, that comment, or who he's talking to. Oh, I guess he's talking to the alchemist. I don't know what that means. Black Pope, Andrew Tate is authentically the dark triad dude that some red pill guys try to eliminate. I'm not sure. Yeah, I think a lot of us are criticizing where the red pill is going. So I don't know what Tate said that is considered throwing red pill under the bus, but yeah, I think a lot of content creators right now are starting to criticize where the red pill is going and what's going on with the red pill.
Hey, sorry about that, man. I take piss.
No problem. I'm just looking through some of these comments.
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody's asking me, am I planning on having a family? Yeah, I'm just trying to set myself up in a way where I feel like I can have ultimate control, well, not ultimate, but as much control as possible over my family. The way things are going now, we're going to lose a lot of control as citizens. So I'm just like, I don't know what it's going to be like being a father when they're trying to vaccinate your kid and cryptocurrency is coming in. They're going to have blockchain for information. So what they're teaching your children, you're not going to have any say so over. They're going to have drag queens coming to school teaching your kid their alphabets. I don't know. So that's why I haven't started a family yet, is that I don't feel that I have figured out where to have this family and how to lead and raise this family the way that I see fit, you know, in a traditional way. So that's my issue. But having a family, having a wife, and having kids, I don't think there's anything wrong with any of those aspects. It's the current day that troubles me or worries me.
Yeah, things are getting pretty rough, man. It's definitely been worse, but the bizarre and insanely perverse way, that world that we have to, if you end up having kids, have to raise kids in, it's pretty wild, man. Like you mentioned, the drag queen shit and like the vax shit and like all this freedom to be a parent, to be a father, to lead your family. That's like going down the drain really, really fast.
I think it's gone already. I think it's gone already.
It depends what state you live in, what state and what country, but
that's true. Well, no, definitely what country. But I mean, like, as far as America is concerned, majority of the states, I think the fathers that are able to be fathers, I think they're being allowed to be fathers. You know what I mean? I almost feel like I almost feel like they're fortunate. I feel like they're lucky. Like they're being let be a father. If that makes any sense.
Yeah. No, it does. I mean? It makes language is important, and it's like when people, even independent of political stuff, it's when a guy is like, I'm allowed to make decisions in my house. It's like, motherfucker, you don't make shit. Right. If you're allowed to make decisions, you don't do shit, bro. You have no authority.
But that's how I feel that it is. I feel like the guys that are like being a dad and all of that, I feel like that's because your wife is letting you. Like your wife at the moment is letting you do that. But if any given time she decided, you know what? Fuck this. I'm not happy. It's over for you. She's taking them damn kids, and you can't do shit about it. So basically really, she's letting you.
Yeah, this to me too is so toxic and dysfunctional for human beings that if this doesn't get fixed, I think we're facing the fall of Rome. My view is that basically, I don't know if you can still hear me, but basically masculinity and femininity are some of the most basic building blocks of any country and any civilization. And we've screwed that shit up, whether it's divorce and marriage or kind of more dating shit, whatever, it doesn't matter. All of it is so fucked that if this doesn't get fixed, America is going to fall apart like this century, the whole empire, not just America, but all the allied countries, Canada, the West, basically.
Well, I think it's inevitable. I think it's inevitable. And I think what they're doing is they're setting America up to be in this awkward position where America is viewed as like, okay, America is going to be this type of opposition, but the way the rest of the world is going to view it as is that you are being what's the word for it, man? We're going to be viewed as this arrogant hurdle that needs to be overcome, right? Let me just give me some examples of what I'm trying to say. Right now, they're pushing this energy crisis. They're pushing this conflict in the Ukraine as being the scapegoat for why our economy is about to crash. They're going to start pushing all these environmental issues that are going to allow them to pass all these laws that just give the powers that be ultimate control over humanity. And in all these other countries, they're already way further ahead with these things that they want to implement. Like, for example, when you go to like Latin America, they don't give you plastic bags with your groceries. If you go buy groceries, you go to any store, you buy anything, like you have to bring your own bag or you're carrying it out in your hand. They don't give you a bag with your purchases. And if they do offer a plastic bag, you have to pay for that plastic bag. So it'd be like 5 cents or whatever for that plastic bag. So it's a mental conditioning, right? And what they're trying to get you to believe is that all of a sudden the environment is in, you know, this dire situation, and that every little plastic bag is polluting the earth, and which is bullshit. It's just all about, are they properly disposing of these materials? If they're recycling like they're supposed to be, and they're disposing of the materials like they charge the taxpayers to, then none of these things would be an issue. But what I'm saying is, years ago, they set it up this way on purpose so that later they could use the environment being at risk as the leverage to get people to follow these rules and follow these laws. Now, just hear me out here. It's a quick little rant. So what happens is they don't implement these things in America first. So, for example, when you're in certain countries and you order, say, fast food, you won't have a lid or a straw for your drink. They'll just give you your drink in a cup. There won't be no lid. There'll be no straw. So they're already eliminating any unnecessary plastics or whatever wherever they can. But yet they don't do this. They don't do this in America, though. So they're saving all of this for last in America, so that when the time comes, since we're the country of freedom, we're the country of freedom of speech and all this other type of shit, they're going to save us till the end. And then they're going to start to act like, oh, it's because of America. America refuses to adhere to these rules. America is being selfish. America is this, America is that. So that when they finally get America to acquiesce, what America stood for is now erased. Yeah. If you understand what I'm trying to say, because we stand for freedom. We stand for, hey, you can't treat me like that because I'm a human being. I'm equal to everyone else.
But you're also saying this is inevitable, though. I don't know.
No,
if it's inevitable.
Saying. It's inevitable, right? But it's already decided, is what I'm trying to say. They're just saving us for last, so that when the time comes, the whole world teams up on us and says, you have to accept your speech being policed. You have to accept all these new regulations to protect the environment. You have to get vaccinated. You have to do this. You have to do this because it's for the safety of all of us. It's for the safety of the planet. How dare you think that your personal freedoms and your bodily autonomy is more important than the environment? How dare you as an American?
That kind of social pressure, though, you're saying like a social pressure thing, basically, against the United States. No, this is real. I agree. I just think it might be like a fuse that sets off a powder keg. Like, that's the problem. It's a good problem to have. I'm glad we have it. But like, this country has a lot of guns, and there's still a lot of people willing to fight and die for what they believe in spite of what the media tells you and tries to portray and downplay. Like, there's a lot of guns in this country and a lot of men.
But the thing is, what I'm trying to say is that's why they're going to be able to demonize that mentality, though, because now they're going to be able to say that all those traditional Americans are terrorists now. That's what I'm trying to say. Now they're going to be able to label you as a terrorist if you want to stand up for these freedoms and this belief, and the rest of the world is going to agree with it because they would have already created the numbers against you. What I'm trying to say is, if they started with that type of bullshit in America, America would have resisted it, and when America resisted it, the rest of the world would have had the strength and courage to be like, you know what? That's right. You're right. You're right. That's not right, and that's not fair, and we're not going to allow that over here either. So America has always been that in the world. A lot of people don't realize that, but America has always been
a leader, you mean?
Right, exactly. That country that basically gave other countries the balls to say, you know what, this isn't right, and we're not going to let you do this to us. So if America can be rubbed out, then nowhere in the world is going to stop a tyrannical government. So they're basically putting this in place in all the other countries first and saving us for last. And if you don't believe me, guys, go do some fucking research on your own. The social rating system that's coming to America, they've already implemented it in China and India a couple of years ago. You guys don't realize it because you're arrogant Americans that don't care about what's going on in the rest of the world. That's a problem with Americans. We don't give a shit about what's going on in the rest of the world, but the rest of the world is very informed about what's going on in America. So it's already been, I think, at least 2 years now that they've had the social rating system in place in China. If you don't know what that is, you need to go learn what it is, because they're bringing it here. And once they bring it here, the government's going to know what you had for breakfast. They're going to know what time you woke up. They're going to know how many drinks you had at the bar last night. They're going to know how fast you drove your car home. They're going to know everything. And if you go 1 mile over the fucking speed limit, they're going to drop your social rating, right? If you forget to take out your garbage or you don't recycle, they're going to drop your social rating. And when they drop it, it's not only going to affect you, it's going to affect your family and your friends. So if your friends associate with you, they're going to drop their social rating. If your social rating drops, your kids can't go to certain schools. This is dead serious shit, and they're bringing it here.
It's old school communist shit too. I mean,
Right.
that's why people didn't flee North Korea. I think is if even now, if you flee and get caught or don't get caught, they'll go after your family. You
Yep.
flee, you get away. Well, they'll kill your fucking mom, dad, your brothers,
Yep.
sisters, and your cousins, like all of them. So it's really sick shit. But I'm still hopeful that things will turn around in, well, a peaceful way, but B, by any way necessary. And I think that our founding fathers and the history of this country is pretty good for that. There's no guarantee though. I mean,
Well,
this could be
there's got to be
could be like
conflict.
probably.
It's
Yeah,
gonna
I
have to
mean,
be. It's gonna have to be.
yeah, that's probably what they'll force it as. I remember in 2018, you might recall as well, Jack Dorsey, the former CEO of Twitter, he was openly calling for civil war in a news article, like an interview that came out. It's like this is, I mean, there's so many things wrong with that and retarded from a guy, especially a guy like Jack Dorsey, but it shows you where their head is at. That they're in their delusional, headscape. These feminists and liberals and shit, they push for this stuff. They antagonize for violence and open conflict, and it's like that's where they want it to go. So they're going to keep
funny
pushing
because they're
in
the
that
ones that are
direction.
ill prepared for it. That's the thing I think
Yeah.
is funny. It's like you have these
Yeah.
liberals pushing for it. It's like, yeah, but y'all soft though.
Yeah.
Y'all pushing for it. The conservatives are the ones that are familiar with conflict.
Yeah. They're 130 pounds, soaking wet, green hair, and a bunch.
Never used a firearm before.
Never shot a gun. Yeah, it's like, so I don't know what's going to happen exactly. Nobody does, but I'm hopeful that things will turn around. There's some positive things from time to time. I was pretty happy with Roe v. Wade being overturned, if only from a social cultural perspective that something like that could even happen. Just like Trump getting elected, the fact that even happened, and it was a huge fuck you to feminism and all this shit. That is interesting to me to see happen.
I think what they should have learned from that is that feminism has always just been a tool that they've used for division. It's just amazing to me that women actually think that they have any power. It's like you don't have any power, bro. Like women really think that, like, yeah, women have made so much changes and women have so much power now. It's like, no, they don't. They have the perception of power that's been given to them by the people that's behind feminism, and the people behind feminism aren't women.
Yeah, they wanted a bunch of taxpayers. Is what they wanted, more taxpayers.
Right, that's what I'm trying to say. That was a political move. Was a move for power, and the people that did it and funded it don't have vaginas. So it's just amazing that they think they're the ones with the power. That's like thinking that Michael Jordan owns Nike or something. It's like Michael Jordan is just the poster boy for Nike. He doesn't make his own shoes. He doesn't own his own shoe company. Jordans are made by Nike. All they did was not put the check on it and give it a different logo so that the simple-minded people think that it's a different brand or something. So feminism is just, something that was branded to appeal to women. They were like, all right, how do we, basically it's the same product, but let's just make it pink. Let's make it pink so that it appeals to women and that we can get their votes. It's like, and they all fell for this shit. And it's just, I'm like, all right, whatever. I mean, it's destroyed us.
That's what I did.
There's no putting it back.
Oh,
they're not going to be able to put it back together. And they're gonna all regret it is the sad part, because when that martial law clicks in and the chaos starts, there's not going to be no single woman that's going to feel safe or be comfortable whatsoever. Every woman is going to want a strong man to protect and lead her when the shit hits the fan. And you see how the resources are about to become scarce. It's just funny to me that women are going to have to eat all their words of, I don't need no man. You're going to need a man when there's food shortages, bitch. Yep. Okay? You're going to need a man. All right? So good luck with that.
Hey, with that said, man, let's wrap up. I got to get going here in a bit. But it's been good. I really appreciate your time coming on today, man. 100%.
Likewise, it's been interesting. Hopefully we'll do this in person soon, and looking forward to the convention. So
for everyone watching, you can meet myself and Allende later this year in October at the 21 convention in Orlando, Florida. It's going to be October 14 to 17. Cutlery Adams will be there, Jack Donovan, Richard Grant, and myself. Many other speakers, about 20 or close to that per event. And it's going to be a 4-day event, Friday through Monday. Awesome time. Best in the world. Bring a friend free. Tickets are BOGO, like your favorite food at a grocery store. So come on out. Have a good time. Go to 21studios.com. Link in the description for tickets. There's also a link to Allende's channel if you're on one of my channels watching this. So check out his channel, subscribe, hit like, leave comments. It helps videos go viral on YouTube. One comment is like 10 likes. So with that said, everyone, peace out. Ayende, thank you very much.